Back where it all began, the Rock Lobsters re-enter the snake pit, where they are undefeated in 4 games this season. But things have been looking up for the Moccasins since the last time these two teams met. Will the Crustaceans make Monroe feel like home once again, or will the Mocs rock the Lobsters? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monroe Civic Center in Monroe, Louisiana, where the Monroe Moccasins take on your Athens Rock Lobsters. Matt Teenrad once again bringing you all the action live on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Make sure you hit the thumbs up to like the stream, subscribe to take part in the chat, and hit the bell to get notified on all future streams, as well as game highlights and exclusive interviews. Tonight's show begins with the Piedmont Athens Regional pregame show. This game pits 2 hot Continental Division teams that have won 7 of their last 10 against one another. Memories of Rock Lobster fans will harken back to the 4 previous games played by the Rock Lobsters here in Monroe. The first series of the season where there were 2 wins in regulation, and then a few weeks later where it took 2 overtime games, one a shootout to find a winner. But the outlook is much different for the Moccasins than it was those 2 months ago. The team has really found a recipe for success ever since the hiring of their 3rd head coach of the season, Gary Gill. Take a look at the standings. As you can see here, Monroe currently in a playoff spot, but the Athens Rock Lobsters have a chance to leapfrog them in the standings if they can get both wins this weekend. So a very interesting dynamic there. Of course, the Rock Lobsters have played significantly less games than the Moccasins this year. Both teams are coming off impressive wins. Monroe goaltender Marcus Ekholm-Rosen is coming off his first shutout in the 4-0 win against the Mississippi Seawolves, the bottom team in the Continental. Rock Lobster fans will find it difficult to forget the 7-4 victory they dealt the top team in the division, the Carolina Thunderbirds. Some news swirling around in the Piedmont Athens Regional Injury Report. Orca Weisblatt slated to make his return from injury tonight. Riley Robertson is feeling a lot better from a slight knock he had from the past few weeks. We'll see if he's back in the mix tonight. We've also had some transactions that have been announced recently. Jimmy Lodge on loan to the Greenville Swamp Rabbits in the ECHL. And we wish a bright future to Dion Demke and Justin Movali, who have moved on from the Rock Lobsters. Let's take a look at our impact players of the game presented by FanSaves. First, for the Monroe Moccasins, we take a look at Blake Anderson. The Albertan was the bookender in the team's last game, scoring the first and 4th goals of the 4-0 shutout win. The 22-year-old has 10 goals and 8 assists in his first season of pro hockey. For the Athens Rock Lobsters, it'll be Orca Weisblatt. Orca Weisblatt making his return from his injury tonight that he sustained here in this building. A deep cut that he sustained to his arm that then required surgery. Orca Weisblatt was a huge difference maker in scoring, playmaking, and checking in the 7 games played before his injury. Talking with him on this trip, he felt extra motivated to get back on the ice after watching his brother, Ozzy, make his NHL debut for the Nashville Predators. Our impact player of the game is brought to you by FanSaves. Download the FanSaves app now and follow the Athens Rock Lobsters to check out the team's digital coupon book. And now we take a look at the Aikens Ford starting lineup tonight. Starting in between the pipes is Josh Rosenswag. In front of him is a pair of Troy Murray and Captain Carter Shinkarik. A forward line of Danil Glukaryov, Garrett Milan, and of course, Orca Weisblatt. The team physician provided by Piedmont Athens Regional is Dr. Alec Graff. Our starting lineup is brought to you by Aikens Ford. If you're going to buy a brand new Ford truck, why not deal with the biggest and best Ford dealership in Georgia? That does it for tonight's Piedmont Athens Regional pregame show. Piedmont, real change lives here. And we'll be back with action here in Monroe after this commercial. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about my
future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive.
How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. There's only one place you can deck yourself out and represent Athens' first ever pro hockey team, the Rock Lobsters. Head to shop.rocklobstershockey.com to get your hats, shirts, and even jerseys now. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you. Welcome back to The View here at the Monroe Civic Center. Starting lineup for the Monroe Moccasins getting announced here. Back in between the pipes for the Moccasins is Marcus Ekholm-Rosen. The Swede is coming off his first shutout of the year, a 4-0 win against the Mississippi Seawolves. It's time for the national anthem. And it's going to be the Monroe Moccasin equipment manager tonight to sing the Stars and Stripes, Wolfgang Blue. Wolfgang Blue, the equipment manager for the Monroe Moccasins, with a little bit of help from the crowd here at the Monroe Civic Center. One thing that you've got to give plaudits for to this Monroe Moccasin team, it's always a good crowd here in the Monroe Civic Center, as it has been back in Athens at the Aikens Ford Arena. Can't wait to welcome the Moccasins to Aikens Ford for the first time. We talked about the starting lineup. A bit of a new look. Daniil Glukaryov able to retain his spot in the starting lineup as of late with Garrett Milan. But Orca Weisblatt, somewhat the new look member of that line. Remember, he was on a line with Milan and Malik Johnson when the season started here in Monroe. Felt just like yesterday. It really was about 3.5 months ago. A long 10-hour bus ride down the road. All these players on the ice, as well as me up here in the booth, ready to get started here in the Monroe Civic Center. Blake Anderson is going to line up to take the draw against Garrett Milan. It took Milan a very short period of time for him to open up the scoring in the Athens Rock Lobsters franchise history. Less than 30 seconds was all it took for the Rock Lobsters to get scoring started. Milan is known for the quick goal. Let's see what happens here tonight. Rock Lobsters win the draw. Murray, out of his own defensive zone, looks for a pass towards the center ice. It's cut out by Stefanini. Declan Conway sends it in from the right side. Josh Rosenzweig out of his crease to play it. Sends it through the glass and into the stands. 16 seconds gone. A much different looking Monroe Moccasin team, as we talked about in our open. Rock Lobsters looking for a chance to leapfrog the Moccasins in the standings and potentially into the top 4 spots that would put the team in the playoff picture. Mind you, the Rock Lobsters have played a significant amount less games than the Moccasins this year. Murray gets the puck out of the faceoff. Glukaryov, the Russian, on the left side. Perfect tape-to-tape pass. Orca Weisblatt with a slight mishandle, but Milan wins it back on the far side. Orca Weisblatt in the right circle. Looking for an option. He finds Glukaryov, but that one deflects in. Orca Weisblatt in his return to play from his injury that he sustained here has put the Rock Lobsters up 1-0. The Rock Lobsters know about a quick goal here in the Monroe Civic Center, and Orca Weisblatt, inspired by his NHL playing brother, has put the good guys up 1-0. My goodness. Monroe fans probably just wishing that they could start the second period with games against the Rock Lobsters this season. Michael Greco finds Philip Virgili. The Swede working up the right side. Lots of good things happening from this right circle. Malik Johnson hard to the net, a little bit too hard as he takes the net off its moorings. All the fans in the chat missing Orca Weisblatt. Weisblatt showing that he missed Crustacean Nation as well. Still just 49 seconds played in this game, and a tough start for Ekholm Rosen, who must have been feeling confident after a shutout yesterday, rather in his last game against the Mississippi Seawolves. Made 30 saves in that game. On the Monroe side of the neutral zone, a face-off here. False start. Virgili gets kicked out of the dot. Johnson will take his place. Ekholm Rosen plays it towards Bacon. Now on the left side for Frank Schumacher. Picked up by Kowash. Good pass towards center ice for Heitzner. Dumped in. Rosenzweig out of his crease to play it. Backhands it towards Kolatarsi. Fakes a whack at it. Up the left side for Johnson. Missed pass there from Heitzner. And Greco dumps it out. Some of the forwards trying to change. Touch of the puck there for Cunningham. Quick turn from Kolatarsi. Gives him a little bit more space to play with. Loose puck picked up by Heitzner at center ice. Greco gets a piece on that, but now Heitzner with a one-on-one. A slapper saved by Rosenzweig with the blocker. Portillo can't progress it up the left side. Justin Portillo back in the lineup. Greco lifts it high into the sky. Good win there from Portillo, but he's then dispossessed by Christopher Rex Moe. Christopher Rex Moe. Rosenzweig has to make the freeze there. A little more than 2 minutes gone in the first period. We're talking about Christopher Rex Moe. His brother, Michael Hagan Moe, just put on the season-ending IR. So only one of the Moe brothers in play tonight here in the Snake Pit. Offensive zone draw. Blake Anderson. We're missing a player on the ice. Troy Murray coming on. Slight issue being checked on here. You can't see it on your screen, but the referee's checking with something in the penalty box right now. I wonder if it's a timing issue. Doesn't seem to be. 17:56 on the clock. This time Blake Anderson gets kicked down on the false start. Anderson, a young man, getting kicked out of the face-off circle. Shinkarik up to the right. Orca Weisblatt, the goal scorer in this game. Milan needs a little extra second to keep that puck under his spell. Orca Weisblatt showing how good he is on the forecheck. That's something that the Rock Lobsters have been missing, his physical presence. Icing called against the Moccasins. That'll send the face-off the other way. About 2.5 minutes gone. Rock Lobsters feeling good here early. The Orca Weisblatt goal goes unassisted at the 34-second mark. Milan tries to sweep it to Weisblatt, but it hits off the backboards for Samuel Hal Gustafson. Good passing up the middle here for the Moccasins. Anderson with a wrister right into the glove of Rosie. Good job there from Rosenzweig to make sure that the rebound didn't pop out of the glove. One thing that I'm noticing here with the ice is that it's already losing a lot of its luster. I was thinking that when the Zamboni was out on the ice. Just doesn't seem as moist as it should be. Good face-off win from the Moccasins, but a shot from Cunningham gets blocked out. Backhand clearance out. Difficult save for Rosenzweig to make, but he does it with the blocker. Heitzner looking for an option. He's going to take it himself and score. The Moccasins would have felt like they needed the quick response, and they get it from Heitzner, who since he's joined the team has become the second leading point scorer for this team, and now he leads in goals with his 16th of the year. An early start for the Rock Lobsters, but they don't have time to really celebrate their lead. About 2.5 minutes later, the Moccasins have evened it up. The goal's being given to Scott Koash. And oh God, here come the plastic snakes. The bane of my existence. I have to take a second to sweep these rubber snakes off the ice. So instead it'll be Koash's 11th of the year. 28-year-old from Plainfield, Illinois. Hopefully that spells something good for this game. A really quick 1-1 start here. Rock Lobsters have had to take a lot of leads in their last 5 or so games. Mind you that this is their first road game in about 8 games. You can kind of see what I'm talking about with the Zamboni issues there. You can see the tracks, the dirty tracks of the Zamboni there going into the corner. Johnson tries to go hard to the end boards. Moccasins looking for a way out. They're not going to find it just yet. Virgili working his way into the right circle. His shot gets stuffed. Fans want a penalty call. They're not going to get one. Malik Johnson tries a pass towards the slot. Kesa Gallant can get that back. Malik Johnson tries the backhand towards the net. That one skips past Greco. Kolatarsi behind his net. Kolatarsi, very good at being deceptive as a defenseman with the puck. Greco loses a handle on it, but slaps at it back to get it into the neutral zone. Milan has to bat that in midair. Back to Weisblatt, a drop pass that doesn't work out in his favor. Conway, a dangerous snake in the pit. And a heavy hit in behind, laid in by Stefanini on Milan. But Milan's back up to his feet, skating towards the Moccasin net with speed, and we've got a penalty upcoming here. Orca Weisblatt sends Conway to the ice. G and JB asking, is Athens announcing the game from Monroe or off the feed? We are in Monroe tonight. And we've also got a snake going back into its box. Blake Anderson sends the Rock Lobsters to the Paloma Park power play. If the Rock Lobsters score on the quadruple P, fans can unlock $3 tacos at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. A chance for the Rock Lobsters to retake the lead here. A unit of Glukaryov, Shinkarik, Orca Weisblatt, Garrett Milan, and Malik Johnson. A power play that needed some adjustments as of late, but went against the top penalty-killing team in the league last Sunday in the Carolina Thunderbirds and scored 3 power play goals on them. Orca Weisblatt struggling to find a route, but he's got one in the Russian Glukaryov. Weisblatt, backhander towards the slot, but Malik Johnson was getting tied up by Heitzner. Heitzner with speed, Haslin, Shinkarik. Bank pass off the far boards, Malik Johnson back to Shinkarik. Sends the far pass to the left side, Milan tiptoeing over the line. Back to Weisblatt, but it's a close range pass, difficult for him to handle, and he's hassled by 2. Somehow the Rock Lobsters keep that in through Shinkarik. Milan off the far board, Shinkarik. Slapper from Weisblatt. It's an absolute rocket, but a good save from Ekholm Rosen. And that one trickles out. Minute 10 on the penalty to Anderson. Rock Lobsters recycle it quick. That one almost caught Ekholm Rosen off guard. It was a good pass toward the direction of Garrett Milan from Orca Weisblatt. Shinkarik. Milan. Shinkarik fakes a slapper. Milan releases one. Little too heavy around the boards, and that actually helps the Moccasins clear their side of the ice. A good start to this penalty-killing unit for the Monroe Moccasins. And a whistle blown. Not sure what the call is here. Not 100% sure here why the whistle's blown, but we go to a commercial break. We'll see if we have any news for you after this. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
I believe we've got a difficult answer to what our question was in terms of why the stoppage of play happened. It's because the Rock Lobsters are called for too many men on the ice penalty. So we'll have 34 seconds of 4-on-4 before there is a minute 26 on a Moccasin power play. Cason Gallant serving the penalty. Dirty work to do in the corner. Kolatarski gets it done. Greco behind the net. Waiting for the right angle. He finds one in Picard. Picard with a laser to the far side. Milan beating the icing. Hard in behind, but a good job from Christopher Rex Moe on the recovery run to get in front of a Milan play there. Michael Greco dekes his own goaltender, then he dekes a Moccasin. Kolatarski, a defenseman who's first into the zone. That one skips over the skate of Milan, and it benefits the Moccasins coming out of the boxes. Blake Anderson potentially almost sent him on a breakaway. Moccasins now on the power play. Oh my goodness, what a save. Rosenzweig, who stuffs Heitzner from scoring his second. Oh my goodness, this is a building that Josh Rosenzweig has come to love this season. And he pulls out another highlight reel save here in Monroe Civic Center. Corey Cunningham loses a handle, but he gets it back. Schumacher with a long-range shot. Swallowing it up is Rosenzweig. Offensive zone draw, Koash against Virgili. 44 seconds on the Moccasin power play. Schumacher at the line. Puts it into the corner. Trigby miniguns. A physical presence to say the least, but a pass that doesn't go to plan for Koash. Moccasins have to regroup here with less than 30 seconds to go. Malik Johnson takes a big hit but gets it out in the meantime. 10 seconds left on the power play. That should do it for most of the danger. And Gallant back on the ice. Conway, backhand dump in. Rosenzweig helps it towards Shinkarik, but then decides to freeze. Tied game here at 1 apiece. Orca Wieslat with a goal just 34 seconds into the game. About 2.5 minutes later, Scott Koash with a deflection on a Kyle Heitzner shot. Hal Gustafson with a slapper. That one caught Rosie up high. Referee with his hand up in the air. And a slash, I believe, going against the Moccasins. Is it going to be Ryder? Brad Ryder gets sent to the box. He's scored 3 goals versus the Rock Lobsters in the first series in the two teams' histories. Back to the Paloma Park power play. Let's see if the Rock Lobsters can earn their fans $3 tacos for 24 hours. Face-off win for the Moccasins, and then they send that puck on its way, stopped by Rosie in its tracks. Shinkarik. Glukaryov, a very, very good skater to the end boards with speed, but Rasmus Asp with another clearance of the puck. About 20 seconds shaved off of the man advantage for the Rock Lobsters. Glukaryov. Backhander doesn't quite find Milan, but Milan with a quick thinking pass. Glukaryov down on the ice trying to get that puck back. I think Lukaryov was looking for the trip there, but the referees weren't convinced. Shinkarik with a quick step on the gas pedal. Lukaryov into the zone. Weisblatt. He falls down to the ice, and then Milan with a slapper. Rosenzweig was out of his net, so are the Rock Lobsters going to a 5-on-3 here? Doesn't look like it. Maybe Rosenzweig was just quick out of his crease at the whistle. Minute 5 to go on the Ryder slash. Casey Gallant taking the draw here. Well, temporarily. That's all right. Brandon Picard has been very comfortable in the center position lately. He switches from left to right, tries to draw it back, unable to do so, and that one is skied over the hands of Joe Kolatarsi. Rosenzweig leaves it for Kolatarsi. Good forward check there from Conway. Rosenzweig showing his puck handling skills. We always see him in warm-ups. Take a couple shots on the net. Greco with a whirlwind sends it to the far side. Virgili picks it up. Picard leaves it for Virgili. Back to Michael Greco. Greco tries for the quick pass. Getting a touch on it was Koash. Picard tries to poke it through Koash, but the Monroe number 11 sends it at Rosenzweig's cage. Virgili, is there one last gasp here for the Rock Lobsters to get something done on the power play? Kyle Russell gets blocked from close range, and it's a 2-on-2. Both teams back at 5 apiece. Ooh, good pass towards the slot, but missing high was Ryder fresh out the box. Michael Greco with an absolute stunning hit on Corey Cunningham. He always has it Mike's way. Forehand, backhand doesn't go to plan, but the Moccasins get the puck in. Blake Anderson from the right circle misses wide. Good pressure all around here. Blake Anderson with the puck once again. Takes a hit in behind from Brendan Ronan. Moccasins looking dangerous here. Kyle Russell on his fellow number 7. Puck loose out. Great defensive play there from Justin Portillo. Almost found the route of Reller. Reller wins the puck back. Looking uncomfortable holding his midsection. Troy Murray takes a heavy hit from Hal Gustafson. The Rock Lobsters started this game with some real electricity, but they've lost some of that in the last 5 minutes. Weisblatt, his pass gets easily cut out, and almost a breakaway again for the Monroe Moccasins as Corey Cunningham was trying to steam towards that net. Better here, but Carter Shinkarik hears the whistle for the offsides. We go to another commercial break here. A little more than 8 minutes left. We've got a 1-1 game between the Rock Lobsters and the Monroe Moccasins. It's always a good one here in Monroe. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate
It's
you.
a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
A chance here to shout out some sponsors and friends of the show. Athens Area Urology. You're in good hands with Athens Area Urology. Plumber Pro, Hospitality South, Athens Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Classic City Flats, Harmon Enterprises, and Roto-Rooter. A lot of the reason why the Moccasins have found themselves with more influence in this game is how much better they're doing on the face-offs right now. Puck thrown out of play. Both teams will make some changes. Picard tries to go through the circle with the puck. Justin Portillo trying to get in behind Declan Conway. Good progression up this right side. Kali Koivu-Niemi with a right circle wrister that hits the chest protector of Rosenzweig, and he's able to gather. Rock Lobsters will change once again, putting out their top line on this offensive zone opportunity for the Moccasins. Once again, a face-off win, but it's batted at Shinkarik, who bats it out of midair. Milan with speed through the middle, trying to get there. Glukaryov, pad save from Ekholm Rosen. A little bit of European on European. That sounds a little bit like a Athens Area Urology ad there too, doesn't it? Good pass from Weisblatt to find Glukaryov. Rock Lobsters with numbers in the offensive zone. Glukaryov's backhand pass towards the slot doesn't find Weisblatt, but he wins the puck back. Takes a hit for his efforts. Bacon sends him down to the ice. Better there from Athens. Stefanini into the glass from Murray. Rock Lobsters on the bottom end of the power play numbers this season. Heitzner looking for some help. He finds it in Koash. That one catches Rosenzweig up high and then plays it with a stick out. 6:40 to go in the first period. Pressure being heaped on by the Moccasins now. Kolatarski with a creative bank pass. Sent long towards Johnson. Johnson so good at using that speed, but Hal Gustafson lets him know that he's there. A spill in the corner. Philip Virgili has lost his helmet. Johnson takes it through Heitzner. Virgili was looking for Gallant, ends up on the end boards. You can see there's a lot of snow developing right in front of the benches. See if that causes any issues later on in the game. A couple players trying to bat it out of midair. Picard quickly into the zone. Johnson has to wait for Picard. He does. Takes it in. Working from the right circle. Picard just misses wide. It gets hit right back at him by Bazarin. Garcia sends it back up the boards. Rasmus Asp trying to calm everything down. Koash with a good pass towards Stefanini, but a fantastic read from Matt Garcia. Picard, high slot shot, stopped by Ekholm Rosen. Seems like these are two teams that both call their goaltenders Rosie, as I'm now learning over the PA speakers. Man, hits are being laid on at all areas of the ice right now. Matt Garcia with speed, takes it towards the net. Really good backhander save from Ekholm Rosen. And Portillo is going to go to the box. Rock Lobsters heading to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Strong, skilled, strategic defense. That's what the Rock Lobsters are going to need on the penalty kill, and that's what Leslie Jones Law can provide you. If you find yourself in the penalty box, call Leslie Jones Law. We go to a commercial break here. We'll be coming back here with a Monroe Moccasin power play after this.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. Less than 5 minutes to go in this game, and Justin Portillo is in the box for tripping. Monroe Moccasins with a man advantage and a chance to go back into the tunnel with some happy fans here in the Monroe Civic Center. Land with a face-off win. Those have been hard to come by for the Rock Lobsters thus far in this game. Sent and long. Coming over to fetch is Declan Conway. Schumacher out from behind his net. Corey Cunningham over to the right, gets the return pass from Conway. A really good pass out to the slot, and then Schumacher with a slapper. Rosenzweig down prone on the ice, doing everything he can to make sure that that one doesn't tickle the twine. The Moccasins showing the danger of their power play here. Already finding a chance with less than 30 seconds gone in this man advantage. 4 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock. Face-off win, Mocs. Ooh, Conway got a little bit spooked there. And here come the Rock Lobsters. Milan short-handed, gets hit high. Milan has the puck back. Shinkarik with a wrister. Traffic out in front, make sure it doesn't go in. Milan slow back to his feet, but he's back on his haunches. Moccasins with a 2-on-1 from close range, trying the shootout move towards the crease was Koash. Koash has already scored on this in this game. Rock Lobsters doing a better job here on the penalty kill, guarding the slot. The self-inflicted wound by Corey Cunningham as his pass is out of the zone. Stefanini. Good play progressing up this right side, but then misplayed by Declan Conway, who, funny enough, shares a name with a member of the UGA men's hockey team. 3 minutes to go. About 20 seconds to go on the power play for Monroe. Anderson tries a couple nice moves, but Kolatarsi, a very adept roadblock for anything coming his way. Rex Moe. Rock Lobsters back. Skating 5. Rosenzweig. Looks like he got skated into up high, and taking exception is Portillo. He wants a piece there of Kyle Heitzner. Heitzner wants no piece of him. And smart there, really, from Heitzner. He's a high-scoring player for the Moccasins. Doesn't do anything for him to take a free trip to the box and oblige in a fight. But Justin Portillo, having missed the last couple games, no doubt he's going to want to make sure that his presence is known here, especially with the way that the last 4 games have gone. A very, very physical all-time series between these two teams. Michael Greco to take the face-off. Hugo Koch. Shot is saved by Rosenzweig. Taking a look at the Federal Hockey summary here. The Moccasins have the edge in shots, 11-9. Quick wrister, a great block there from Portillo, who puts his body on the line of the shot. Kolatarsi winning it off of Ryder. Slot from the shot, takes an awkward deflection. Nursing something toward his mouth there was Matthew Bazarin. Picard takes it around Asp. Drops it back. Murray from long range. Picard cleverly leaves it. Portillo takes a boarding in from behind. And Rock Lobsters are going to the Paloma Park power play once again. A lot of after-class conversation happening here on the ice. A reminder that you're watching the Athens Rock Lobster Network. If you haven't already, leave a like on the stream. Subscribe now to join a part of the illustrious chat here. And also, don't forget to ring the bell to be notified of all future streams, exclusive interviews, and highlights. Hal Gustafson gets called for the board. Rock Lobsters back up a man on the Moccasins. Same power play unit that we saw earlier. Milan moves early on the draw, gets kicked out. Malik Johnson draws it back to Shinkarik, not a natural center, but wins the faceoff. Weisblatt gets the pass from his captain, Carter Shinkarik, returns the favor. Quick pass over to Milan, doesn't get what he wants on it, but a quick pass back towards the slot. Shinkarik saves that one from going out. Weisblatt on the left, Milan on the right. Quick redirection from close range. And then Malik Johnson tries to put it off the back end of Ekholm Rosen. Wow, a great job there from Johnson to get the puck back after he lost the edge, but it's out of the offensive zone now for the Rock Lobsters. Athens having to regroup. Lukaryov. Shinkarik. Back into neutral ice. The Russian, a heavy hit from his fellow European, Kalu Kovuniemi. There's some names you just don't look forward to pronouncing in this league. That's one of them. On the other hand, Garrett Milan is exactly the kind of name that you want to say. A goal from him would roll off the tongue, but Shinkarik passes it to his absolutely dynamite partner in crime. Garrett Milan becomes Super Milan once again in a place that he knows all too well what it feels like to score. He's done so once again, and the Rock Lobsters are up 2-1. A power play goal for Athens comes through Garrett Milan, who scores his 20th of the year, extending his point streak to 19 games. Swede against Swede. Virgili took it through his legs from Coach. Greco up the right for Gallant. Gets the pass right the second time around. But a good defensive read there from Rasmus Asp. Good amount of Swedes on this Monroe team. And the action will end with a 2-1 lead to the Athens Rock Lobsters. How about this? A goal 30 seconds into the period and a goal 30 seconds before the period ends. Orca Weisblatt 34 seconds in with a deflection off the skate of a Monroe defenseman past Ekholm Rosen. Scott Koash got a redirect from close range off a Kyle Heitzner shot. And then Garrett Milan goes bar down on a wrister to score his 20th of the year, his 42nd point, and that extends his point streak to 19 games. Be interesting to see if he can extend it to 20 later on in this series. As always, during the first intermission, we have our talk with head coach Steve Martinson. Here's how my conversation this week with Coach went. It's time for a feel-good episode of Coach's Corner here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Voice of the Rock Lobsters, Matt Teenrad here with head coach Steve Martinson. Coach Marty, the team is coming off 2 wins this past weekend, a shootout win against the Baton Rouge Zydeco and a 7-4 victory against the top team in the Continental Division, the Carolina Thunderbirds. These are 2 teams that have spent time atop our division this season. They're both playoff teams as of right now. It felt like a statement weekend for the club. What are your thoughts on the 2 wins?
Well, I thought the first night we really dominated them in Baton Rouge against them. And then, I thought they were lucky to stay in the game. We had a couple of breakdowns, which, every team has their breakdowns. But, I didn't like a couple of the goals but we weren't scoring. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I didn't think, going into Sunday, we haven't been scoring at the rate that I would expect. So I was disappointed to have to go into overtime with Baton Rouge, but obviously getting the fans like the shootout. I don't because of the point system. But anyway, I was disappointed in that game. And then, obviously we had a little breakout on Sunday and scoring the goals. But again, we gave up odd man rushes to their best players, and you can't play like that. It's just so there was a lot of positives, but some negatives on Sunday too.
The Zydeco game, it felt like a game we had seen before in Aikens Ford Arena, like a closely contested boxing match almost. 2 heavyweights going blow for blow. The team goes and gets 3 leads, and it's not enough. It goes to a shootout, as we've mentioned. The team ultimately pulls out the win, and now the team has a league-leading 8 overtime wins, as many as it has in regulation this season. The team has shown their resilience to get these wins, but as you mentioned, ultimately with the league's rules, it's 8 dropped points as well, from a matter of a different perspective. Can you give us your full scope of thought on overtimes, how much the team has had to get it done in extra hockey this season, and also your thoughts on how overtime works in the Fed?
Well, I mean, overtime really, it's the smarter players usually, win in overtime because it's a game of mistakes where when you have 5-on-5, and most goals have multiple mistakes before it ends up in your net. I mean, every once in a while they just make a really good play, everything goes right, they have a great shot, and they end up with a goal. But typically there's a breakdown, then there's another one, and oftentimes there's 3. But in overtime, you only need 1 mistake to give a scoring chance because there's not other players to make up for the mistakes. That's the difference in the zone. You have 5 players defending and 5 can collapse against 3 and leave the points open. But you don't have that in overtime. So that's the biggest thing. Dumb players make dumb plays in overtime and cause, odd man rushes. And, we've got enough skill that if we get scoring chances in overtime and odd man rushes, we're going to score goals. And then we got some good players in shootouts and skilled guys. And certainly that helps.
That transitions us nicely to the next question. It's the longest shootout I believe we've had so far this season. It only went 5 shots. But I think it's the first time that we've gotten to see the rule in effect where you can send out the same shooter as many times as you like after the 3rd shot. I was curious, What goes into your decision making there? Do you just have an idea of who your 3 best shooters are? Or are you actively asking guys on the bench, hey, who's feeling comfortable to take shots right now?
Well, you have some guys that are better when it's a goalie that you're shooting on, and you have some guys that are better than it's deking. So if it's a shooting, if it's a guy that's back in his net, and we're going to shoot the puck on him, or maybe a smaller guy, then you're using maybe more of a shooter than a deker. Their goalie, I thought, was really big, and didn't have great movement side to side. So you're kind of using your dekers. I mean, that's really, I don't want to act like it's brain science, but I didn't think that they should have been in overtime with. I mean, I think we outshot them almost 2-1. We would dominate and they'd come down and get a scoring chance. So I wasn't really, happy with how we were playing and why we were in that position. But more of it was because we were shooting pucks into the goalie. We just kept shooting into, he's a big guy. And that's one of the things that changed a little bit on our power play to try to get a little bit more. We call it east-west, and north-south is up and down, east-west is cross, and it's harder for goalies when you get that cross-ice passing, and you get some what you call maybe prettier goals, but you don't get the screens and the rebound as much. So, that's the strategy anyway in overtime is you don't want to you want to capitalize on the other team's mistakes, and you want puck possession. You want to get guys. The longer you have the puck, the more people, and you really see this 5-on-5. The longer you have the puck in the offensive zone, the more people start looking at the guy with the puck and stop paying attention to the guy they're supposed to be covering. We do it. Everybody does it. It's something that you're always battling. But in overtime, you just don't have the extra help to make up for the mistakes.
I feel like that's a common thread that we'll take into the next game, which had a different outlook. You go up against the Thunderbirds and score 7 goals against the top defense in the league and the best goaltender this league has had in the last 2 years. Was there any secret sauce to making Cavalieri and their defense uncomfortable, or is just what the team looks like when it's firing on all cylinders?
Well, I think we had, you get them a leak back, so you get a little bit more, in skill and some speed and some grit in the lineup. But, I think part of it is we were starting to take advantage of their D, and that's one of the things that I'm trying always to talk about is making sure that we get possession in the offensive zone. I don't like to just fire it in, but I don't like turning the puck over on the rush. If you don't have a good play in the rush, you got to get it in. And where the other teams, I thought on their lineup, the defense is the weaker part of their team, and so you want to play where you can use the defenseman, and I think we took advantage of that. But like I said, flip side of that, we gave their best players like 4 or 5 odd man rushes. And that was inexcusable. And, you ended up seeing different players playing against them by the third period because I got to have guys out against that top line. The one guy had 20 goals in the ECHL, and then Ford had, he had 40 some goals last year, and we're giving those guys 2-on-1. Of course, they scored on a couple of the odd man rushes, but they just missed on a couple of other ones. But we got to be smarter than that.
The thing that I think stood out to me and stood out to a bunch of other people, you kind of just touched on it. You go out and score 3 power play goals against by far the best penalty kill team in the league. You told me last week that you wanted to see more deception out of your power play units. You talked in the last question about moving east to west a little bit more. Was that the kind of trickery that you were looking for out of your team on Sunday afternoon?
Well, in a power play, you've heard me say this, the number one factor in a good power play is nobody cares who scores. And what I mean by that is an unselfish power play. And you're really taking advantage of either how they're killing or the mistakes that they make. And when you make a mistake when you're shorthanded, you need less mistakes for a scoring chance than you do 5-on-5. And, I just thought we moved the puck better on the goals, and then we had traffic in front. You look at it, we had great puck movement into the slot for quick shots. One was Gallant's goal, one was Malik's goal, but that was off a rebound from Glukarov. So I just like the way we were moving the puck. And then, the other big difference is Carter took that one-timer, and it was a laser in the top, but it was right in the top corner. And, I thought that we've been shooting the puck, but, a lot of the games you look where we're getting 50 shots, man, we're hitting the goalie in the chest 30 times. So I actually was on a couple of guys this morning about, working on their shot, and you can't just work on your shot during practice time. If you want to score more goals, you got to go out there a little bit early when the ice is clean, and work on shooting, work on get a buddy on the team, and work on some one-timers and some quick plays. So we haven't had a lot of that because of our having to practice at the practice rink. You only get X amount of time. But now that we're in our rink, guys can go out early, and I'll give an example. Murray was out there 30 minutes before practice, and I watched him. He didn't know I was watching him, but I was just curious to see what he was doing. And he's out there working on shots from the point, and the point of all that is he wants to score more goals. And there's the BSers say they want to score more goals, but they don't do anything about it. And if you want to score more goals, maybe sometimes you got to put a little bit more work. So it's good to see him out there working on a shot.
Someone who did score in that game, and it was a cherry on top, was Malik Johnson. He scored the 7th in that 7-4 win back from his loan to the ECHL team, the South Carolina Stingrays. I was curious because before, Malik and Milan had been on a line together, I believe, for every game before Malik went on loan. He ends up on a line in that game, Malik does, with Virgili and Gallant. Was it a hard decision to put those two on different lines, or has the play of Glukaryov with Millsy as Malik has been gone made it easier for you to decide?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. So the thing that with Glukaryov is he's strong in the corner, he's strong on the puck, and he can move, and he makes good plays, he scores goals, but he also smart enough that he gets Milan the puck, and he gets Milan the puck, and then he's good at the style that he plays goes really well with the style that Milan plays. Now, I was looking at really getting a line that I could play at home against the other team's top line. And when I started the idea of not putting Malik and Garrett back together, it's because I was looking at having I thought Orca was going to be in by last weekend, but he's in this weekend. And Orca is another guy that, he can skate. I think he might have been our second leading scorer when he got hurt. I know he was second in goals. So he's a first line guy, but he also finishes every check. And, I was looking at a line that I could play against the other team's first line at home that might be a little bit harder to play against, but also be able to counter punch and score goals. I don't like to say I want to have a checking line, but there's just some guys are better defensively and some guys are harder to play against. So that's what I was looking at, is getting a line, and I'm trying something right now, with Orca and Malik and Picard on the line, and that's a fast line. So I have different little thoughts, but and then the other thing is with the way that Lodge was playing. Lodge is a really smart player, but people have to understand, like, he only skated one day before he played. I mean, he hadn't practiced. He skated one day at practice, and then we threw him in the lineup. So he's got a little bit of a sore back. I don't think he's going to be able to go this weekend. But that line had been, even though they might not have scored as many goals as I thought they could have, they were just missing on a lot of chances. And so really what we're looking at now is three lines that can score on any shift. And that's what I think that we have going into the weekend is, well, I know it. If I keep the lines the way they are right now, but with me, you never know if that's really happening or not. But if I keep the lines the way we have right now, I feel that we have a lot better chance of scoring on every shift.
We talked a lot about the return of Malik. You mentioned Orca as well. A lot of people were waiting for his return last weekend. You talked about seeing him this weekend. My guess on the broadcast, and it was really just a guess, was that you potentially felt less inclined to risk Orca because you got Malik back for that Sunday game. Am I on the money there, or was there some sort of roadblock for Orca?
Part of it. That's part of it. But if I felt like Orca was ready to go, I mean, he was basically at 9.5 weeks in surgery, and they were talking about 10 weeks. But usually athletes heal up a little faster, and a lot of times when I hear that 10 weeks, I'm thinking of a normal person. But he wasn't quite comfortable as he is now, and then the other thing is he had been gone last weekend to see his dad or his brother play, and so And we didn't have as many practices. So I wanted to really then, when we got Malik back, I was like, okay, this is an opportunity. I can get Orca, into 3 good practices, and then play him. And so a lot of factors went into that, but Orca's ready to go now.
People have been curious about Riley Robertson. I think he kind of really quickly became a fan favorite as we had opened up home games at Aikens Ford. We knew from last week that you had told us he had been nursing a knock, but he's also been listed on the online roster now as a player assistant coach, and I've been seeing him return to the bench in between periods with the whiteboard. First, is there any update on Riley? And secondly, what has he been adding from a coaching perspective?
Well, so it's a technicality with the league. You have to, if you have a player on the bench, he's got to be listed as a player assistant coach. So he's not really a player assistant coach. I like to use whatever defenseman isn't playing on the bench. And I've used, in the past, I used Orca because Orca was going out of his mind, being out so long. He was just like, hey, can I come? Can I go on the bench? And so I was like, yeah, but and typically I'd like to use the defenseman because it's a little bit easier for the defenseman to pay attention to know what's, with who's with who and who's playing in certain situations. But that's just a technicality. And he went on the IR because I could put him all the way back to the day that he got hurt. So, or the last game that he played. So he's clear to come off the IR. He's coming off on Friday and playing. So yeah, that was just a funny thing with the league that makes you have to do that if you have the player on the bench, which it's just what it is.
It sounds like you're having a fully healthy roster nearly right now. Does that make decisions difficult for you going into this weekend, this crucial road trip right now?
Yeah, anytime I have to sit players out, I don't like sitting players out. You have to have extra players. You know what I mean? You have to have it if you want to be a team and you want to have depth. You got to have, you got to have at least 2 extra guys. And so, unfortunately, like I would like to be able to have, one more player in the lineup. And that way, if you're paying players to be here, you can play more guys. But the rules are that's what it is. And so, I was in the American League when, years ago, and we went down to 10 forwards and 60. So they do that to kind of keep costs down. But yeah, it's always tough sitting out guys. And what you try to do is if a guy doesn't have maybe his A game, it gives him a little bit of incentive. But right now we're really deep and we're going to have guys sitting out that would be playing, but that's just, it's really, some of the young guys are going to miss a game this weekend. And it's part of, it's the positive thing of being healthy is the negative thing. You got to sit guys out.
Sunday also marked the pro debut, and I've been practicing my French-Canadian pronunciations. Dominique Rodriguez. It's got to be hard for him to be coming straight off the collegiate game with Castleton. And then he's starting against arguably the best team in the league. It really seemed like he grew into the game as it went on. What did you make of him and his performance?
Yeah, I thought it was a tough start for him because, I think they only had 4 shots on goal in the first period. They had 2 goals, but, one of them was Ford, right down in the slot. We had the turnover, right at our blue line. And then the other one was, they had 2 deflection goals. And the first one was going wide and it was deflected in. The last goal, same thing, was a deflection and the problem with he's not a real big goalie. So if you're a smaller goalie and you're back of the net and you get a deflection, you just take up less space. So, and then the other goal they scored on him was, again, was their top players on a 2-on-1. That was a one-timer that nobody, Patrick Walken stopped that one.
Last question for me, Coach. We travel back to Monroe, back where it all started, to take on the Moccasins once again. The outlook for Monroe is a lot different than it used to be. With you just getting through 8 games at home, are you nervous at all on how the team will adjust to going back on the road?
No, not really. I mean, we've been the best road team in the league that I know of. I mean, I know Binghamton's got a really good record, but everybody knows that a lot of teams up in the north aren't very good, and so there's more depth down here, and so we've got the toughest team in the league and the grittiest team. So I mean, playing on the road isn't really a factor. I don't think for our guys or for the style that we play. Since especially when you get a big guy like. Get Riley back out there, and we've added Greco, and so playing on the road is no issue for our guys.
2 road trips back to back, first to Monroe and then to Columbus. I'll see you there, Coach.
Okay. See you later.
course, always great to talk to head coach Steve Martinson, but back to the task at hand. We are back here in the Monroe Civic Center. The Rock Lobsters with a 2-1 lead. Both teams back out on the ice. The Rock Lobsters kind of bookended that period. 30 seconds into the game, Orca Weisblatt makes his return with aplomb, scoring off a deflection off a defenseman's skate and back into the net behind Ekholm Rosen. Of course, the Moccasins would scratch one back through Scott Koash, who quickly redirected a shot from Heitzner, and then Milan with the exclamation point at the end of the first period. A beautiful wrister barred down past Ekholm Rosen to put the Rock Lobsters back in the lead. But we go into a second period where the Rock Lobsters kind of were riding the wave of fluidity there, because the Rock Lobsters started the period off well. They ended the period well, but that middle part of the first period, the Monroe Moccasins looked a very, very good team with a very, very good forecheck. Top line for the Rock Lobsters will get us started here in Milan, Weisblatt, and Glukaryov. Starters all around, as behind them are Shinkarik and Murray. And off we go in the second. Rock Lobsters would love to have a start to the second period like they had in the first. Quick thinking there from Stefanini. Finds Coach. Backhand drop. Getting there first is Rasmus Asp. Hit out of the zone by Murray. Picked up by Hal Gustafson. Currently 3 Swedes on the ice, 4 if you count the goaltender for the Monroe Moccasins. On the far side is one of them, Samuel Hal Gustafson with a dump in. Rosenzweig to Shinkarik. Takes a heavy hit from Stefanini. Glukaryov on the left side. Great toe drag, but he's offside as Orca Weisblatt had crept in too early on the near side. Rock Lobsters with a 2-game set here in Monroe. Same time, same place tomorrow. I'm here, up here in the bowels of the Monroe Civic Center. Get a little bit fearful. It's almost like a submarine tunnel with a ladder that you have to climb to get up here to my view of the Monroe Civic Center. But once you get up here, what a view it is. Corey Cunningham sends it to the corner. Rosenzweig puts it back over there. Stefanini wanted a call there against Michael Greco. Here comes a 2-on-1 for the Rock Lobsters. Is it finished off? No, it isn't. Virgili just missed the return pass to Malik Johnson. Whistle blown. One thing's for sure, Malik Johnson not making any fans for himself here. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We had an OBS crash, but we're right back in play here. Coming back to fetch the puck is Garcia. Ooh, good pass in the slot. Not knowing much about it was Kyle Russell. Pops back in the air. He can't bat it down. Coach sends it back up the left side. Working in from behind. Great pass. Rosenzweig moving left to right. Sends the net off its moorings, but made a great save anyway on Coach. This is a common thread that we've seen here at the Monroe Civic Center. Nets very easily off their moorings. It's something we saw a lot in both series here in Monroe. Offensive zone draw for the Moccasins. Rock Lobsters looking to turn defense into offense. Portillo up the right, can't take it past Conway. Right back at Rosie. He's got it in his grasp, and he'll keep it that way. Rock Lobsters will change back with his top 5-man unit. Adam Water says we need to mic up Greco or Portillo. That seems dangerous. The Moccasins have been very hard into the corners in this game, and the success that they've had in this contest is because of that very fact. Orca Weisblatt takes a heavy hit. Here come the Rock Lobsters, though. Another 2-on-1 developing. Shinkarik with a great move back to Glukaryov. Good defensive effort there from Blake Anderson. Shinkarik with some great defense of his own on Kali Kovuniemi. Troy Murray kicks it to himself. Glukaryov lets it roll, but Milan doesn't get there. A couple Moccasins take a couple whacks. Corey Cunningham. Good defensive play there from the forward, Orca Weisblatt. Left circle, wrister, deflects wide. Rasmus Asp with the effort. Puck in from behind, trying to stuff it in as Cunningham. A little bit of a whiff on that shot. Couple blocks of the shot from Orca Weisblatt. And a heavy hit up high. Michael Greco on Corey Cunningham. And it feels more like fight night at the Apollo now. Greco's got a hold of somebody. Believe it's Heitzner. Heitzner and Greco have still got a hold of each other's jerseys. A couple more pushes. In from behind there on Orca Weisblatt. Orca Weisblatt on Coash. Referees having a tough time separate Heitzner and Greco. Let's see how this one's handled. Referee's got a handle of Michael Greco, but following in behind him will be Heitzner. The penalties in terms of personnel will be even. Let's see if they're even in terms of minutes. You see there the Monroe bench, and now you've got the two captains in Schumacher and Shinkarik. It must be tough being the captain because the referees have to explain it to you, and then you have the difficult task of having to go and explain it to your coach, how things are either going your way or not going your way.
Rock Lobsters number 98, Kyle Heister, 2 minutes roughing, and 10 minutes for continuing.
Heard of 10 minutes for continuance being called there. Looks like both teams are skating 5 aside. So both teams, I believe, with 12 minutes of penalties apiece, as Rosenzweig makes a good save. Kind of has to hold that to the collarbone. See if there's clarification on the federal hockey penalty summary. Not yet. Malik Johnson with a quick block. A great save from Rosenzweig, trying to put back there from point blank range was Coach. Oh my goodness. Rosenzweig seems to pull out the highlight reel saves here in Monroe. Right now, both players giving 2 minutes for roughing, according to the Federal Hockey website. Josh Rosenzweig with a couple pushes on his net. As we saw earlier, loose off its mooring. Gallant gets it after it's helped up to him on the left side. Steps on the brakes, looking for some help. Drops a pass. Virgili behind the net, tries to bank it off of Ekholm Rosen. He actually gets it in his glove. About 3 minutes and 41 seconds gone. Brandon Picard centering this line of Brendan Ronan and Brandon Reller. Triple B line, how about that? Ooh, a hard block from close range. And feeling it on that far side is Blake Anderson. Blake Anderson back up to his skates. And not a pretty sight. It looks like he's holding his throat after blocking a shot. I really hope that that's not what the case is. How about we call this the Raisin Bran line? Picard, Reller, and Ronan. Brendan, Brandon, and Brandon. Redirection from close range. Picard tries to put it back towards the slot. Russell thinking about it from the high slot. He misses wide. Ronan does a good job to protect that puck. Tries to send it back up to Picard. Reller up the end boards. Doesn't have the mustard on it to reach Shinkarik. Russell being paired here with Shinkarik. Russell up the left side. We thought we might see Riley Robertson tonight. He's feeling better from his injury, but he's back behind the bench once again. Reller with a wrist shot and then takes a couple pushes up high. And then skating away from the scene of the crime is Bazarin. Thanks to Niven in the chat, who's letting me know that they updated the penalty summary, and it looks like they're going to have to update it again. Bazarin into the box. Have to imagine that roughing is a call there. Once again, thanks to Niven in the chat. Updated on the Greco and Heitzner penalties. 2 minutes for roughing and 10 minutes for continuing altercation. Rock Lobsters back on the Paloma Park power play. They have scored on one tonight with 30 seconds left in the first period. That Garrett Milan wrister. Securing $3 tacos for Rock Lobster fans in the Fan Saves app. Shinkarik prevents the clearance. Weisblatt picks it up off the boards on the left side. Glukaryov. Backhand feed to Milan on the near side. We'll hear a couple of the glass slappers. Thinks about the wrister from the right circle, then passes to Glukaryov behind the net, loses a handle. Chance for the Moccasins to clear, and they do. Already 45 seconds shaved off the man advantage by Monroe. Shinkarik through the middle of the legs of Glukaryov. Return pass from Malik Johnson. Helped into the corner by Captain Fantastic. Malik Johnson takes a spill in behind the net. Orca Weisblatt gets in front of that clearance attempt. So good at working in the corners is Weisblatt. That one takes an awkward bounce, I think, off the linesman and never got to Johnson. Rock Lobsters have to regroup here with 30 seconds to go on the power play. Gallant all the way through to Russell, who whiffs on the shot, creating a 2-on-2 for the Moccasins. Coach on the far side still has the puck. Good block of the pass from a Swede on a Swede. Virgili gets the stick hit out from his hands. And with 4 seconds to go on the original penalty committed by Bazarin, the Rock Lobsters will go to a quite temporary 5-on-3 power play. Hugo Coach stating his case to the referee. He's back from a couple of SPH spells with Pensacola and Macon. Confirmation on the slashing call. So 4 seconds of 5-on-3 before it's back to 5-on-4 for a minute 56. Imperative here that the Rock Lobsters draw something up, so they have called a timeout. Would be a great opportunity to win the face-off and then make something happen off that face-off. Five on three has been a good omen for the Rock Lobsters as of late. Let's take a look here. Looks like it'll be the usual suspects on the power play. Philip Virgili's the first one out. Virgili, Picard, Gallant, Milan, and Shinkarik. So changing it up a little bit is Steve Martinson. A mix of old and new on this power play. Taking a look, I think he's prioritizing shots. 5 good shooters on the ice right now. The Moccasins will get one back in Bazarin. So 5-on-4. Shinkarik at the line. Gallant has that one deflect between his leg. Virgili gets his stick kicked away from him. Chance for the Moccasins to do something on the penalty kill shorthanded. But that never comes to fruition. Shinkarik, Milan on the near side. Milan working his way to the high slot. Picard plays it with his skate. Sends it off the end boards. Sent long by the Mocs. Milan banks one for Virgili. Virgili with speed, looking for an option. Same as how Gustafson wipes out like Scooby-Doo. Shinkarik doesn't get what he wants on that pass, but the puck does eventually reach Orca Weisblatt. But it gets poked away from him. 45 seconds for the Rock Lobsters to get something done on this long period of power play time. Land slaps it up for himself. 12 minutes to go. Rock Lobsters lead 2-1. Matty and Rad bringing you all the action here in the Monroe Civic Center in Monroe, Louisiana. Coach coming out in 15 seconds. Weisblatt. Good passing, but Malik Johnson tries to kick it to a teammate. No teammate there. Orca Weisblatt lays the body. The killer whale with a kill in open water. And the Moccasins taking exception. Both teams back to full strength. We have seen the foreshadowing of fighting in this game, but we haven't seen anyone drop the gloves just yet. Russell, first to that loose puck. Kolatarsi. Took a while for me to find that one. Lofted it into the air. Russell to his partner Kolatarsi. Tries to backhand it through the middle, finds Picard. Moccasins win it back in Rock Lobster territory. Lucaryov helps it towards Ronan. Russell on the right side. Pass towards the slot. Lucaryov wins it back in the corner, steps on the brakes. He's pushed down onto his knees. Picard has it back for Athens. Russell, Orca Weisblatt into the zone. Weisblatt helps it towards the slot. Russell was waiting for it on the far side. Moccasins with a 3-on-2. Good move towards the net there from Bazarin. Someone's stick gets absolutely obliterated. It is Bazarin's. Garcia loses a handle. Moccasins dump it back in through Stefanini. Rex Mo with a long-range shot. Took a quick deflection from Stefanini. Sent back towards the net of Rosenzweig through Conway. Ooh, Malik Johnson beats out that icing. Absolutely fantastic work there from a player who was just recently on loan to the ECHL. Milan can win that back from Conway. Conway gets deprived of a wrister thanks to the defensive work from Kaysen Gallant. Unable to cast a spell on that one was Koivu Niemi. But again, we're seeing the fantastic offensive pressure on the forecheck from the Moccasins. The question is can they keep that up for 60 minutes? Shinkarik helped on with a skate of Murray. Pad save from Ekholm Rosen. Long range wrister attempt. Ronan whiffs on the next one. But then he sends another one just past the cage. Put back from Milan. Pad save from Ekholm Rosen. Shinkarik rides the line. It's a fine one. Troy Murray back to Shinkarik at the left circle. Shot misses high and wide. Ryder. A Rock Lobster killer the first time these two teams met. No wraparound attempt. Right circle wrister. Good save from Rosenzweig. Shinkarik. Nothing to chase there for the Moccasins on the dump in. Virgili. It's somewhat impeded on by the broken stick that's in the corner. Murray up the left side. Malik Johnson trying everything he can to get it to Gallant. Gallant gets his foot back on the line. Good piece of moves there from Stefanini, who has it back in his good graces. Pardon me, that's Rasmus Asp, number 9, not number 3. Portillo with a heavy check. Wins the puck back in the corner for the Rock Lobsters, but only temporarily. Koash, a goal scorer in this game, sends a pass towards the slot. Virgili towards Johnson. Portillo in center ice. And he gets hooked by Koash. And the Rock Lobsters once again heading to the Paloma Park power play. You got to call him like you see him, and frankly, I think that's a very soft call, unless there's something else that happened on the ice that I completely missed. Because Bazarin is being brought to the penalty box instead of Koash. Of course, Heitzner and Greco still in the penalty box from their earlier infractions. I think looking for blood there is Samuel Hal Gustafson. Maybe he wants a call a little bit too. Rock Lobsters heading back to the Paloma Park power play. A great, great time in this game to put themselves up by multiple goals. That was something that was hard to do at home at Aikens Ford Arena in their last 8-game homestand. Harkens back to games against Mississippi and the Baton Rouge Zydeco, teams from the Delta, where the Rock Lobsters took 1-0 leads, took 2-1 leads, 3-2 leads. Often those games go to a dreaded word that starts with an O that anyone in the chat will not want me to say. We'll be back after this quick commercial break. Rock Lobster Power Play coming up after this. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always.
Since 1968, we've been your trusted source for home comfort. From then to now, we've evolved, but our commitment to your comfort remains unchanged. Experience the expertise that only decades of
Back just in time. Another OBS crash. Two dreaded O words tonight in this game. OBS is one of them. Rock Lobsters able to get to that draw from Weisblatt, but his pass back up the left side boards ends up in a moccasin clearance that's stopped by Shinkarik. Weisblatt back in the corner. Good interception on that pass there from Anderson. Rosenzweig with a touch of the puck. Shinkarik. Malik Johnson with the zone entry. Weisblatt trying to set up shop on the left side. Shinkarik swats it back toward himself. Back to Weisblatt. Already a 2-point night for Weisblatt in his return from injury. Milan with a wrister. Really good stick work there from Conway. Gets it done on both sides of the puck. Minute 10 on the man advantage. Hooking called against Bazarin. Ekholm Rosen stops the puck on its trajectory. Milan. Good first time move with the puck, and Ekholm Rosen with the stop. One thing's for sure, this Monroe Moccasin team isn't loving the calls by the officials. Couple questions in the chat. Mateen, do you need a new computer? No, I think it's just a software issue. I have a very good computer with a good processor, a good chip. Thank you, Ty, for asking Adam Waters' question. What's OBS? Yeah, it is a broadcasting software. It's how we bring you this game. Puck being jousted for in the slot. Rex Moe trying to place it perfectly into the path of Cunningham. Freeze of the puck from Rosenzweig. Picard leaves that for Gallant. About 30 seconds to go on this power play. Gallant believes he's tripped. Referees don't agree. Ooh, Rosenzweig with a loose touch of the puck. And then Corey Cunningham tried to shoot back at Rosenzweig, and Rosenzweig is getting booed for the fact that this net cannot stay on its moorings. It's been a common theme here at the Monroe Civic Center this season. Thanks for the kind words from Jake Peacock in the chat. I love you too, Jake. Heavily contested face-off. Virgili comes out with it. Less than 6 minutes to go now. 10 seconds to go on the power play. Kolatarsi can't stop that one. And Bazarin is back on the ice. No goals yet in this second period. Rock Lobsters have maintained their 2-1 lead. Good step on the brakes there from Russell. Conway helps it towards the line. Shot blocked by Virgili. Picard. Return pass. Rather, that's Gallant, who almost got a piece of it. Picard with a redirect, takes it wide. Virgili picks it up. Garcia's shot gets stuffed. Shots in favor of the Moccasins, 24-15. Garcia kills the momentum of that puck. Portillo does well to get there first. Takes the body instead of the puck. Portillo with Milan trying to shovel it out on the other side. Some of the most physical games that we've seen the Rock Lobsters play this season against this team from Monroe, Louisiana. Coach with a pass from Ryder off the end boards. That one skips past Bacon. Look at the speed from Reller. He can't catch up. Tries to pass one towards the slot. It's loose out in front, but Ekholm Rosen gets there. Justin Portillo was waiting for it. Portillo still waiting for his first goal of the 2024-25 campaign. Make sure you stay tuned here during the second intermission. We've got an exclusive interview with Brandon Picard. Had a chance to talk about his French-Canadian roots, his fandom of the Montreal Canadiens, and of course, his friendship with former collegiate teammate Dominique Rodriguez. We'll be back after this commercial break. Rock Lobsters continue their lead from the first intermission, 2-1. We'll be back after this commercial break. There's only one place you can deck yourself out and represent Athens' first ever pro hockey team, the Rock Lobsters. Head to shop.rocklobstershockey.com to get your hats, shirts, and even jerseys now. Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you. Rock Lobsters with a face-off, out in front of Ekholm Rosen's net. And Milan gets kicked out of the dot. Weisblatt takes his place. Puck sent long by the Moccasins. Played with a skate of Shinkarik. Shinkarik finding refuge behind Rosenswag's net. Murray with a great move with the puck. 3-on-2 developing past the skate of Glukaryov. Weisblatt picks it up into the corner for the Russian. Tries to take it through the skates of the scrum. Able to do so. Murray stops that puck in its tracks. Sends it to the right side. Milan can't get the shot off, but Glukaryov does. Good save from Ekholm Rosen. Icing is the call. Face-off going back from west to east. DJ Webster in the chat. All the fans have been clamoring about DJ Webster and his stylings at Rock Lobster home games. Unfortunately, we won't get to hear those for the next couple of weeks, but he joins us here tonight in the Athens Rock Lobster Network chat. A reminder to give the stream a like, subscribe if you haven't to join the chat. Shot there from Kolatarsi, puck loose out in front. Ekholm Rosen covers it. And don't forget to ring the bell as well so you can be notified of all future streams as well as exclusive interviews like the one that you'll see in the second intermission with Brandon Picard, as well as highlight packages put together by our very own Stephen Turner. It's been a competitive second period. All that's missing is a goal. Great move there. Tried to stuff it in was Johnson. Virgili just took it through his fellow center on the faceoff. It was a fantastic move. Malik Johnson, all that was missing was his finish. Virgili, a very adept skater. Johnson, his pass gets intercepted by Anderson. Kolatarsi off the glass. Ekholm Rosen hands it down for Anderson. He's got the puck once again, had to dodge the linesman. Koivuniemi gets the puck taken away from him by Matt Garcia. Sends it long, but not long enough for the icing. Rosenzweig wants the icing, not going to get it. Matt Garcia. Kaysen Gallant. Not able to get to the banked pass. Reller swats at it. Back into the corner. Picard gets impeded by Coach. To the far side, Reller opens up possession for the Rock Lobsters through Shinkarik. Off the far glass, great pass in from behind. Shinkarik with a wrister. Where did that one go? In behind the net. Russell makes a good read. Rock Lobster loses their stick. It's Brandon Reller. This time the icing's called against Monroe. Rock Lobsters with a couple good shifts here. Would be tremendous if they can find a goal late on in a period, once again, just like they did in the first. Important face-off win for the Moccasins. Brad Ryder takes it through Murray. Passes loose. Milan. Intercepted by Ryder. A pest that won't go away for the Rock Lobsters. Murray with speed out of his own ice. Over the head of the linesman. Bacon. Glukaryov in behind him. Can't kick it to Milan. Murray with a play with the glove. Ekholm Rosen, that one skips over his stick. Bacon from the corner. Glukaryov gets there first. Is there something left here for the Rock Lobsters? Great pass through the crease from Glukaryov looking for Weisblatt. 15 seconds to go. Heavy hit in behind, kind of a combination hit there, but Orko Weisblatt has his second of the game. And then things exploding in behind the net. Glukaryov taking no exception from the hit that he faced from Heitzner. And we've got a fight. Glukaryov wrestling, taking back control, takes a couple uppercuts from Heitzner. Glukaryov not going down. Jersey over Glukaryov's head. He fires back with a right, and they both tumble down to the ice. Orca the killer Weisblatt, though, has put the Rock Lobsters up by 2 with a beautiful backhand off the bar and in. Heitzner is being helped off the ice, as is Glukaryov. Actually, I just saw Hunter Alden, who's in the seats here. I think he's going down to the locker room to talk to Daniil Glukaryov. He'll go back to the locker room after his 5 for fighting. Penalties have to be ironed out here, but how about the Rock Lobsters, who put themselves up 3-1? Orca Weisblatt with his second goal of the game. He has points in every goal scored by the Rock Lobsters tonight. The scoreboard hasn't been updated. There it goes. Surely that counted. There's got to be no funny business in counting that goal. Orca Weisblatt, who were in the line for Chipotle, believe it or not, on the trip here to Monroe. I asked him, Orca, do you have a little bit more gas in your tank having watched your brother make his NHL debut? He got the game puck in his first game from Steven Stamkos. He said, absolutely. Seeing what he can do makes me even more confident, more comfortable in my abilities on the ice. He's shown that in his first game back from nearly 2 months of injury, having to go through surgery, the recovery process. And he has contributions on all 3 Rock Lobster goals tonight. Looks like the signal from the referee is that both teams will skate at 5 apiece. Raylan Robertson is Alden, the only one sitting tonight. Riley Robertson is also behind the bench. Those are your 2 scratches. I believe Riley Robertson almost healthy enough to make his return to play. And we anxiously await the return to play here, but Malik Johnson might have something to say before the 2 teams even go to intermission. Declan Conway and kind of a 2-on-1 here. Portillo taking the place of Malik Johnson. Portillo with a couple punches to the body. Conway wants more of a wrestling match than a boxing match, but Portillo still ends up on top. This has also been a theme in the Rock Lobsters games. Declan Conway tries to throw a glove at Portillo. It's the linesman instead. And Malik Johnson waves Conway off the ice. The camera's following Justin Portillo. We have to thank the Moccasins media crew here for the awesome shot of Justin Portillo making his way back to the locker room. Well, what an action-packed second period that had jousts, it had fights, and it had a goal scored in the last minute by Orca Weisblatt, as it's the Rock Lobsters who pinch a multi-goal lead late on. Right now, the goal's being given to Daniil Glukaryov. Don't think that that's right. Might need to talk to the scoring here at the Monroe Civic Center. Believe it's Orca Weisblatt with 2 in this game. Let's quickly look at the scores across the league here. As we take a look, it looks like the Watertown Wolves losing 6-3 in the game in Binghamton against the Black Bears. Port Huron with a 5-1 lead over the Mississippi Seawolves. They're in a tough spell right now. But how about this? How about this? The Danbury Hat Tricks with a 5-1 lead against the Motor City Rockers. I see, I got confused there. It's not the Hat Tricks. It's the Dashers who are losing 6-2 now. They were up against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. It looks like that fabled regulation win is not going to come just yet. But interestingly enough, the Blue Ridge Bobcats up 4-1 against the Carolina Thunderbirds. That will keep the Thunderbirds in place at the top, but a chance for the rest of the teams to move up. It also prevents the Rock Lobsters to potentially move up against the Bobcats this weekend. Well, we had a chance to talk to Brandon Picard a few days ago. I had a chance to talk to him about his starts in the the suburb of Montreal, Saint Hugo de Monteville, and also his fandom of the Montreal Canadiens and his friendship of new Rock Lobster goaltender Dominique Rodriguez and how he actually helped bring him to the Rock Lobsters. Here's my interview with Brandon.
Voice of the Rock Lobsters, Mattine Rad, here once again for another intermission interview. And I'm excited to welcome Brandon Picard for the first time to the show. Brandon, how you doing, my man?
Doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. My first question is a really easy one. I was curious, with now another Brandon and now a Brendan in the locker room, what is your nickname with the boys to differentiate all you guys, Picard, Reller, and Ronan?
Yeah, I've been picked pretty much the whole year, so it's been pretty easy with even though the first names are kind of pretty similar.
We'll get back to, pardon me, that's actually my colleague here in Monroe commentator Joseph Furtado, but what you can't see on the ice is both teams' captains just making their way off the ice. A long conversation with the referees and the officials. Not sure what's going on there. Shinkarik exchanging some words there with Scott Koash. Both captains getting explanations. We'll see what's to come of this going into the third period. Going to be interesting there, especially with the quick 2-on-1 fight that we saw there. Malik Johnson helping out Justin Portillo, or rather Justin Portillo helping out Malik Johnson in that fight. Well, apologies for delaying our interview with Brandon. Here we go, our interview with Brandon Picard. Thank you for the hold up.
Voice of the Rock Lobsters, Mattine Rad, here once again for another intermission interview. And I'm excited to welcome Brandon Picard for the first time to the show. Brandon, how you doing, my man?
Doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. My first question is a really easy one. I was curious, with now another Brandon and now a Brendan in the locker room, what is your nickname with the boys to differentiate all you guys, Picard, Reller, and Ronan?
Yeah, I've been picked pretty much the whole year, so it's been pretty easy with even though the first names are kind of pretty similar. It's just been picked, so it's hasn't really changed.
Well, we're going to start at the beginning and work our way to your time now with the Rock Lobsters. You grew up in the suburbs of Montreal in Saint-Bruno de Monteville. What can you tell us about growing up in your hometown?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great place to play hockey and stuff, so it was great. And obviously, it's a little colder than over here, so really happy to be around here and having the warm weather. But yeah, it was really nice growing up. I guess that's a lot of hockey, and yeah, great.
Does it suffice to say that you grew up a Habs fan?
Of course, yes, still am.
What were some of your favorites to watch, or who were some of your favorites to watch growing up?
I really liked Michael Camilleri. I kind of tried to not imitate my game towards him, but I really liked the way he played, and obviously he scored a lot of goals, and scoring goals is always fun, especially as a kid. So Michael Camilleri was definitely a big part of me growing up and going to the Montreal games and stuff like that. So yeah.
I feel like for Canadians, it's just second nature to get involved with hockey as a kid. It's kind of like playing Little League Baseball here in the States. But do you remember when you first started thinking to yourself, oh, I want to be a hockey player? Like, that's what I want to do with my life.
Honestly, I think it's ever since you pretty much started playing hockey, that's all you do. You watch hockey. You want to go see the Canadians. You watch the Canadians at night with your buddies. So ever since I can even remember, that's what I wanted to do. Like, I remember a project I did in kindergarten was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a hockey player. I want to play in the NHL. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what it was.
And it shows in your resume too. I mean, it looks like you moved to the Philadelphia area around the age of 16 as you attended the Hill School, which was a boarding school, and you played hockey there. Give us the big picture there. I mean, how did that move come about for you? Were your parents still in Montreal, and how difficult was all of that for you?
Yeah, so I moved the year prior to that. I went and played junior flyers in Philly. I think my second year midget. I didn't make any teams that were really interesting in my area, and we had family friends that had lived in the St. Bruno area, and she was now in Philadelphia, and they were like, they have kids the same age as us or as me, and they were like, yeah, why don't you come try out? So went over there, tried out, made the team, stayed with that family for the year, and then after that, prep school became it was kind of a new thing for me. Coming from Canada and stuff like that. But after that year, a couple prep schools came up to me, and the Hill School, that's how the Hill School came up.
You played D3 hockey with Concordia and Castleton, and then you have your first year in the pros last year. You played a total of 50 games through 4 different teams. Kind of what you said earlier with your move to Philadelphia, you had already kind of been used to this kind of lifestyle, but how much of a whirlwind year was that for you?
Yeah, it's not easy. Obviously, moving around, you feel like you're not necessarily wanted in certain teams and stuff like that. And I believed in myself, and obviously, I thought I've been playing good. And there's a lot of things that involved a roster move in pros, especially. And I mean, I'm used to it now. Obviously, I've moved around a lot, but you just have to do your best, and the only thing you can do is the things you can control. So off the ice, I was working out and doing all the little things to try and stick around every team as much as I could, but there's nothing you can do except for just work harder and try and get better every day.
It was crazy to me too, because you were pretty much a point per game player through those 50 games in the Fed.
Right. Yeah. In the Fed, I was pretty good, really good actually with Port Huron. I had a great time there, and then got called up, obviously. And like I said, things happen. Guys get injured, you get called up. The guys that were injured get back, and that's kind of when you're kind of last on a totem pole when you're the last one coming in. So
there was a text you and me shared the other day. I saw that new goaltender Dominique Rodriguez's mother's last name is Picard. And I had reached out to you to see if there was any relation. You laughed and said no. You two were former teammates at Castleton University. Was that a question that you two used to get a lot? And did you play any part in Dominique coming to Athens?
We didn't really get that question a lot because he doesn't really use his second last name, if you will.
No.
I think it was a couple weeks into the school year, and I was like, "Oh, you have his second last name Picard, like your mom's?" It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, that's crazy, right?" But yeah, nothing there. And then I forget the second part of the question. All right.
I was asking if you played any part in Dominique coming to Athens.
Yeah, I mean, I let him know that we had a goalie leaving in SB and Jack, and I just let him know, and anything. I think he called his agent and then kind of made it happen.
Wow. You joined the Athens Rock Lobsters in the second weekend of the season, and you made an instant impact. When did you first learn about the organization, and how did the stars kind of align for you to join the team?
So I got drafted in the expansion draft last year by the Rock Lobsters. So Marty talked to me early in the summer last year. So I had an idea, almost too good to be true. I was like, there's no way. Like, I've been in the Fed before, but it's everything that he's told and even more. Like, we get treated so well over here. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change it. Like, I want to be here. I want to win a championship. So it's a great place to be.
It feels like, I haven't really asked any of the players this before, and it really just came up. It's not even on my list. It's something that every player has mentioned to me is the difference in how the organization treats their players compared to other teams in the FPHL. What are the little differences, maybe even the big differences between Athens as a destination here in the league compared to other places?
I mean, the city itself I think is beautiful and great. Obviously, you have UGA right around the corner. So for the fan perspective, I think that helps a lot. The rink is, might be the best rink in Minor Pro, all leagues considered. And yeah, the guys over here are great. Like, I don't think I've ever had this kind of atmosphere in the locker room. So, yeah.
In terms of your play on the ice, it feels like you're really finding that goal-scoring touch as of late, and the fans have seen you release a wicked wrister in the last 5 or 6 games. What do you think is clicking for you right now?
I think I've just been doing the same thing, really. Obviously, had a little bit of a slow start, coming in a little bit late. Kind of took a little bit to get a little bit of chemistry with everyone and get to know everyone, stuff like that. So, but I think it just keep doing the same thing and keep working on things in practice and stuff like that. It's just hard work, really.
You're getting deployed a lot right now at center. Is that taking some getting used to, or is that some of what you attribute your success to right now?
I can't say I've played a lot of center. I enjoy playing center. I think I pride myself in winning faceoffs. Obviously, it doesn't always go your way, but I've always been pretty good at winning faceoffs, so I really enjoy that. And playing center, you get to skate a little bit more with the puck and dictate the play a little bit more, so I do really enjoy playing center.
It's been impressive to me how much you've been able to contribute with different people coming in and out of your lines. Can you talk about how difficult it is to adjust to different play styles with different line mates?
It definitely is. I mean, I think when I was playing with Phil and Kaysen, it took a couple games for us to kind of, or at least for me to kind of know what their tendencies are and stuff like that. But at this point, I mean, I've seen everyone play and I've kind of picked up on everyone's tendencies. So I think I have a pretty good understanding of what guys are going to do in certain situations. So it's been relatively easy, but obviously there's always a grace period to get to know your teammates.
Would you say there's a guy or a couple of guys that you're feeling really comfortable with on the ice right now?
Honestly, everyone. I mean, it's always fun to play with Phil. He sees the ice very well. He's a great passer. So as a shooter myself, I always love playing with Phil, and I think that's the guy I played the most with. So, yeah, and I think I played with Breller lately a little bit more. So I like how big he is. He goes to corners and wins puck battles like that. So it's always fun to have a guy like that too on your line.
I was curious if you were lobbying to play with Danny Glukaryov a little bit more, because he had that tremendous pass to you. I think it was last week from behind the net that all you had to do was touch it in the back of the net and you were going to score. And man, that was one of the highlight reels of the season thus far.
Yeah, I mean, Danny's really good with the puck and a little bit like Reller too. Like in the corners, he's a force. I mean, this guy's strong as hell. So it's been really fun. We played maybe a couple times 4-on-4 together and stuff like that. But the times that we've had together have been really good. And yeah, he's a great player.
It's been fun to watch Danny grow into the North American game. Well, Brandon, next up, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. Should be short, sweet, to the point. First, what's your go-to pregame meal?
I try to keep it simple. Lately, I've been doing more breakfast. I try to eat 12 o'clock-ish, have a big breakfast, eggs, potatoes, turkey. Sometimes I'll do a little protein smoothie. So yeah, that'd probably be it right now.
I feel like I already know the answer to this question for you, but I ask every player, slapper or wrister?
A wrister for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
But how do you take it?
Tea also. And black. I just take my coffee black. And I like a tea when I, maybe an hour or two before I want to bed. Just calms me down. So, yeah.
What's on your pregame playlist right now?
I'm not really a headphones guy in the locker room or anything like that. But if I had the aux in the locker room, it'd probably be a little bit of rap and EDM.
Who have you been getting the closest to? Who's your best friend on the team, did you say?
Well, Dom just got here, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it might be easy.
Speak French and stuff like that. But Malik, I've been pretty close to, so it's fun that he's back now.
Malik's a Quebec guy too, isn't he?
Yeah, correct. So we all just speak French together, so it makes it easy. But I've been pretty close to Troy. I played with him prior last year in Knoxville. So yeah, I'd probably say Troy.
So that's something that's still, I think, alien for people from the U.S. to think about. So you grew up, French was your first language, correct? That's the first language you ever knew.
That's correct, yeah.
That's crazy, man. Neighbors to the north, it still blows my mind.
Yeah.
All right, final question for me, Brandon. What's your favorite vacation spot?
I've been to Florida so much. I love it every time. I think I got to say Florida. The golf's great. I love playing golf. I think it's got to be Florida.
We still got a long way to go until you could take a vacation, Brandon. Hopefully we get to the playoffs this year. Fans are going to be able to check out Brandon Picard this weekend in the 2-game set against Monroe. Brandon, can't wait to see you there, brother.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
Always fun to talk to a player for the first time. That's really the first time I've ever gotten to talk to Brandon Picard. Really great to learn about his roots and also his comfort in playing the center position as of late. As for us right here, right now, we're in the Monroe Civic Center. Welcome to my little cavern up here. We've got a 3-1 Athens Rock Lobster lead. Right now, the theme has been early goals, barred down goals, and Orca Weisblatt, the common thread. He was the one that started the scoring in the first 30 seconds of the first period. He sends a pass towards the slot. It takes a redirection off a defenseman's skate and goes past Ekholm Rosen to open up the scoring. But the Moccasins had a response through Scott Koash, who redirected a shot from Kyle Heitzner to level the score at 1 apiece. Garrett Milan got one back in the last minute of play on the power play for the Rock Lobsters. His wrister goes bar down to take a 2-1 lead. That would eventually turn into a 3-1 lead in the last minute of the second period as Orca Weisblatt doubled his goal-scoring tally on the night. He has contributions on all 3 goals tonight, does the Killer Whale. So the Rock Lobsters go into the third period with a 3-1 lead. Multi-goal leads have made the Rock Lobsters feel very comfortable so far this season, but the 2-goal lead is one of the most dangerous that Aki has to present. We've got about 2.5 minutes till play in the third period. We'll be back with third period action. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. Rock Lobsters back on the ice with their 3-1 lead. Penalties just read out over the loudspeaker here in the Monroe Civic Center. Believe I heard 2 minutes for slashing for Malik Johnson. And that's paired with 2 fighting penalties going to both Declan Conway and Justin Portillo. So I believe the third period will start with a 2-minute power play in favor of the Monroe Moccasins. The Moccasins are back out on the ice. Not sure what's going on with this camera angle that's zoomed in on the technology. Chance for the Moccasins to get started hot in the third period and really make this a game. To scratch their deficit to just 1 goal. It's not going to be an impossibility if they don't score on this power play, but it's going to feel pretty imperative that they do. Malik Johnson taking his place in the box. And the crowd here in the Monroe Civic Center serenading the Athens 67. Rock Lobsters have to kill a 2-minute penalty. Rock Lobsters leading 3-1, 2 goals from Orca Weisblatt and 1 from Garrett Milan. 3-point night for Weisblatt, 2-point night for Milan. That puts Milan on 43 points this season, 20 goals and 23 assists. Weisblatt back in the mix with his 6th goal and 5th assists of the year in just his eighth game played this campaign. Eddie Jennings asking in the chat if I run OBS on a Linux distro, Windows, or Mac. I run it on a Mac, and I know a lot of the tech nerds are going to be mad at me that I do that, but just the laptop that I already had. Streaming wasn't my main bread and butter before this season started, and that's a big reason why I didn't have a better streaming computer. But it's a high-level Mac laptop. I feel like it gets the job done. Back underway here with this Monroe Moccasin power play. A spill on the near ice from Weisblatt, but the Rock Lobsters have the puck. Garrett Milan trying to get something done shorthanded. Sends it into the corner, and we're seeing spills all over the ice. Awkward puck play, too. I think there might be something wrong with the Zamboni here at the Monroe Civic Center. I'm not sure. We're seeing guys' legs moving before they are, looking like Scooby-Doo slipping out on the ice. They've been asking, is the ice super wet there? I feel like it's just not been moistened enough by the Zamboni. You're not seeing that usual glare that you're seeing after a Zamboni has done its work in the intermission. Moccasins trying to get something done here. Trying to set up shop. 30 seconds to go on the Malik Johnson penalty. Good pass in from behind the net. 94 combining with 96, and Christopher Rex Moe forces a save out of Rosenzweig. 15 seconds on the Malik Johnson penalty, and the crowd here letting Malik Johnson know what they feel about him. All that's missing now is a Malik Johnson goal. Long way to traverse for Anderson. Anderson with a right circle shot over the helmet of Rosenzweig. Malik Johnson is out of the sin bin. Michael Greco squishing Stefanini in the corner. Malik Johnson, potential 2-on-1 here. Orca Weisblatt is on hat-trick duty. He might get one here. Puck loose out in front. Milan with a wrister takes a block of a body. Risky play from the goaltender, Ekholm Rosen, and a couple punches thrown from Bacon toward Milan. Milan ends up on top. Don't think any gloves were dropped there. Kind of a cheap shot from Bacon, if you ask me. Couple more spats developing on the ice. And Russell and Anderson have a hold of one another now. Milan's in the box with Portillo and Glukaryov, who are both serving fighting penalties. We'll see if we're skating 5 apiece, as has been the trend so far in this game, but it feels like it's going to be difficult to call this a real fighting penalty. Might be 2 offsetting roughings. Feels like it's difficult for the Moccasins to try to get on this fighting train right now when Justin Portillo is in the box. Feels like a less brave way to go about this game when they're down 3-1. 10-minute misconduct going to Christopher Rex Moe. But it was Seth Bacon who started that altercation. So I feel like that can't be right. Perhaps there was something out of that altercation that continued to progress. Malik Johnson was the first to be serenaded, and now the officials are getting an earful. The crowd here finding it difficult to understand that when you throw a cheap shot at someone on the ice, it results in a penalty. Referees taking a while to iron things out. Meanwhile, Schumacher and Shinkarik get the explanation. Feels like it's going to take some time here as the circus music has begun to play. Whoever's in charge of the music needs to be careful. I've seen people back in my time in collegiate sports get thrown out for playing songs that did not make the referees look good. I remember I was working a Kennesaw State baseball game, and the person in charge of the music played Three Blind Mice after a strike call was called that he didn't think should be. And he was then thrown out of the game by the officials. Feels like this one's going to take some time. We go to a commercial break. Rock Lobsters up 3-1. We'll see what's made of the penalties here at the Monroe Civic Center. There's only one place you can deck yourself out and represent Athens' first ever pro hockey team, the Rock Lobsters. Head to shop.rocklobstershockey.com to get your hats, shirts, and even jerseys now. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon. Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you. Penalties just read over the loudspeaker. Didn't get a chance to really hear them. I still think they're putting out a game misconduct for Christopher Rex Moe. Teams are skating at 4 apiece. Seth Bacon in the box for 2 minutes, as is Garrett Milan. Ooh, a lot of speed up the right side for Philip Virgili. Gets it swatted away from him, however, though, from Rasmus Asp. Nifty little pass there from Koash. Asp into the corner, picked up by Shinkarik. Shinkarik on the left side. Virgili. Good stick handling by the Swede. Seth Bacon for cross-checking Garrett Milan for a roughing minor. Murray with a good stick work defensively. Shinkarik on the near side avoids the big hit from Koivuniemi. Picard. Bit of a 1-on-3. Isolated, but nearly finds the top corner. Johnson. Johnson from the left circle. Pass towards the crease, looking for Shinkarik. Didn't find him. Ooh, a wipeout in the corner. Gallant helping Coach down to the ice. Picard doesn't find the return to Kolatarsi. Schumacher in the golden helmet behind his goaltender. Towards Coach. Coach with a good move. Had a really good rookie year last year. Great pass right to left. Missing on an open net was Anderson. Koivuniemi. Backhand pass, Schumacher. Dumped into the corner. There is Anderson. Gallant gets it chopped away from Anderson. Schumacher from the line. Shot took a piece of Greco. Kolatarsi in behind. Brad Ryder. And we've got another fight. This time it's Kolatarsi knocking down a Moccasin to the ice. Wow, what a right hand from Kolatarsi. Who is that poor soul that just got absolutely blasted by Kola? It's Brad Ryder. Oh my goodness, that's one of the fights of the season there from Joe Kolatarsi. These penalty boxes are starting to fill up here and the benches are looking lighter. Eddie Jennings in the chat says Cola rolled a 20 for that one. A great little D&D joke. So Joe Kolatarsi joins the party in the box. This also adds on to the referee's work, so we'll be back after this commercial break. More penalties to iron out for the Zebras. Rock Lobsters lead 3-1. It feels like they lead in the category of fighting as well. Actually, it looks like we're going to get some play here. 5 for fighting for Kolatarsi and Ryder. Malik Johnson pushes the face off, takes an awkward bounce off the shot of Bazarin. Icing against Athens. Onion Rings calls me announcer guy. And you know what? I'll take it. What do I think tomorrow will look like? Well, if anything between these two teams in the past has told us about what games can look like, the physicality between these two teams doesn't stop in game one. Moccasins with good work out of the faceoff. Reller here with Ronan and Johnson. Good save there with a pad of Rosensweig. Offside is the call. Trigvi Miniguns, who I don't believe has had many minutes in this game, is getting sent out on the ice. Perhaps part of that, the amount of players in the Monroe box as well as the Athens box. 2 from both sides will get sent out of the sin bin. Glukaryov and Portillo. Their 5-minute penalties have been served. Same for Monroe as Heitzner and Conway. And that really hurt Monroe, is having your 2 top scorers in the box due to fighting. It's not the way you want to go about things with a high-scoring offense like the Athens Rock Lobsters. So let's see, perhaps Monroe having some firepower back in Heitzner and Conway can change the complexion of this game. A chance for us to remind you that this broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Piedmont Athens Regional. The real change lives here. Aikens Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If you're going to trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and the best? Stanfield Air Systems. We've spent the last 50 years fulfilling Athens' HVAC needs. First American Bank and Trust, we specialize in you. And Terrapin Beer Company, do the right thing always. Face-off right in front of the Athens bench is won by the Moccasins. Koash with a long-range shot from center ice, and Rosenzweig puts the squeeze on that one. Moccasins trying anything at this point. Need to put the shots on Rosenzweig and challenge the Rock Lobster goaltender. He's been up to the challenge in games here in Monroe this season. Shinkarik, his pass initially gets cut out by Heitzner, but right back to him. Orca Weisblatt over the line. Bounces off Glukaryov unfavorably. Shots in favor of Monroe, 25-19. Schumacher getting chased by Glukaryov. Cunningham works it left to right. Koash. Second bite of the cherry. Wrist shot at the edge of the right circle. Gets deflected by the stick of Shinkarik, wide of Rosenzweig's net. Cunningham. Koivuniemi's dump in. Gets intercepted by Shinkarik, backhanded into the skate of Milan by Glukaryov. Far side for Orca Weisblatt. He's on hat trick watch. Can he become the second Rock Lobster to ever score a hat trick? It would be poetic having it be in his return from injury. Murray gets a stick in and around Blake Anderson. Virgili quickly to his left. Shinkarik quickly at his right. Pokes it, neutral ice. Virgili can't cast a spell on it. Declan Conway to the right for Coach. Off the skate of Murray. Back to Coach. Back in behind Rosenzweig's net. Anderson. Quick step on the brakes for Anderson. Coming off a 2-goal performance. Puck loose out to the right of Rosenzweig's net. Puck loose out in the front of Rosenzweig's net, and then he gets over it. Golden opportunity for the team with golden helmets, but the lead remains at 2 goals. My apologies that the 4-on-4 is still there. But also, thank you for putting it in the chat so I realized, Raylan. Appreciate that. Virgili on the face-off against Koash, and he wins it. Portillo taking the body of Trigby Miniguns. Those two have crossed paths a time or two. Garcia drop pass to Portillo. It's past the blade of his stick. Trigby Miniguns gets in between Portillo and the puck. Miniguns back to Bacon. Bacon dumped in. Quick range wrister and into the netting from Trigby Miniguns. Trigby Miniguns, an interesting story. A First Nation player, part of the Siksika Nation in southern Alberta. Played 3 games in the WHL with the Regina Pats with Johnny Gaudreau. And like Justin Portillo, he's a big old boy. Portillo at 6'2", Miniguns at 6'4". Conway with a pass toward the crease. Rosenzweig with a pad save. Gallant, 3-on-2 developing. Can't get the pass to Picard. Puck loose out in front. Gallant tries to stuff it in. Unable to do so. Good defensive play there from Blake Anderson, who's proven to be a good two-way player. Ronan trying to impede Conway, but he gets the pass at the line. Anderson tried to find Cunningham on the far side. Swept back by Shinkarik. Russell from the far corner. Bats at it. Falls here for Cunningham. Cunningham backhand dump in. Heitzner loses track of it. Pass from Shinkarik off the skate of Ronan and back to the captain. Spinning into the zone, a pirouette from Carter Shinkarik, casing along with a backhand pass toward the slot. Nobody's there. Heitzner getting the cheer from the crowd. Cunningham with a backhander, frozen by Rosenzweig. '25th save of the night for Rosenzweig. Head coach Steve Martinson had talked about Rosenzweig having the ability to really prove himself now that Jack Bosta has moved on to the Peoria Rivermen. Rosenzweig with what has looked like his best performance in some time here. And oh my God, Trigby miniguns going hard in on a Rock Lobster in the corner, and it was punching in from behind. It was Garrett Milan. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Good for you, Trigby. You took on someone who, as a 6'4" player that you are, was 5'6" and punched him in from behind. Earnestly pathetic play there from Miniguns. And now Bazarin trying to get loose from the referee's grasp to get towards Murray. Referees need to get a hold of this game. It is absolutely spilled over here. Bazarin has just 6 goals and 9 assists in 56 career games, but he has 297 penalty minutes coming into this game. Rosenzweig sends a puck towards the net of Ekholm Rose. Back from an OBS crash here. This one's going to take some time to iron out. Rosenzweig had sent a shot of a puck towards Ekholm Rosen's net. This one's going to take some time to iron out. For those of you who are just coming into the broadcast, I took a look, a turn towards the corner, and I saw Garrett Milan face down on the ice, taking punches in from behind by Trigby Miniguns. Miniguns trying to make an impression any way he can. He hasn't seen a lot of the ice tonight. I just saw something happen so funny in the Athens Rock Lobster penalty box, but I can't even say what I saw. It's a shame. Onion Rings asks, yes, Trigby Miniguns is his real name. A native Canadian, if you will, part of the Siksika Nation, as we talked about earlier. Not sure what the naming practices there are, but a native name that those more familiar with anglicized names might not be familiar with. Now, waiting to hear what the penalties being ironed out here are. Took a look in the corner, and when I took a look in the corner, from whatever developed quickly between Milan and Miniguns off the puck, Miniguns had Milan face down on the ice, sending punches into the back of Milan, which is dirty work to say the least. I would think it's something that deserves a suspension, if I'm speaking frankly, but not my call to make. hope that that's a good enough explanation of really just what I saw here from the booth. This game, or the semblance of a game, has really just collapsed here. It's starting to feel like an all-out war, but really that's what's led to the entertainment of this all-time series between the Rock Lobsters and the Moccasins. We'll go to a commercial break. This one's taking a long time. Rock Lobsters up 3-1, but how many players are going to be left on the bench when this one's done?
Since 1968, we've been your trusted source for home comfort. From then to now, we've evolved, but our commitment to your comfort remains unchanged. Experience the expertise that only decades of dedicated service can provide. Trust Stanfield. We've been keeping homes comfortable for over 50 years. Your comfort, our legacy. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive.
How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing.
You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
Back here at Monroe Civic Center, the Rock Lobsters with a 3-1 lead. They'll have a chance to add on here as they go to the Paloma Park power play. In terms of the penalty summary, it was too difficult to recollect as it was read out here over the PA. I do know many guns will spend the rest of this game in the locker room. So he had 2 for roughing, 5 for fighting, and a 10-minute misconduct. The puck cleared out. Rosenzweig gets into the glove, swats it off the near boards. Malik Johnson has it carry him to him. Shinkarik over the line. Shinkarik lofts it to himself into the slot, backhands it towards Milan. Milan out of the corner. And we've got another penalty. And Shinkarik just sends it right into the stick of Cunningham as the Rock Lobsters would rather take the time on the 5-on-3 power play, which they'll have for 1:36. Cunningham, I believed, with a trip. Milan took a spill into the inboards. Try to find a seat, Corey. Power play unit here for the 5-on-3 is Shinkarik, Milan, Weisblatt, Johnson, and Virgili. Weisblatt still on hat trick watch. Puck is dropped. Virgili gets there. Backhand swap back to Picard. Has it skip over his stick. Relieves some pressure. Picard to Milan on the right side. Riding the line. Virgili. Right of the red line. Milan. Picard. Milan with the slapper. Misses high over the bar. Backhanded right back to him. Johnson. Milan. Picard. Good interception there. Good play with a stick by Koash. Rosenzweig will play it quickly as he comes out of his crease. Johnson. Good feed towards the left side. Weisblatt. Shinkarik with a slapper. That one off the bar. Shinkarik loads up again. Fakes the slapper. Works his way into the circle. Weisblatt right into the glove of Ekholm Rosen. 30 seconds to go on the 5-on-3, but the Rock Lobsters will spend about another 53 seconds on the man advantage. A couple of personnel changing for the Rock Lobsters. Picard in to take the face-off, in for Johnson. You never know what can happen. Another 10 minutes in this game. No doubt the Rock Lobsters will feel a lot more comfortable if they can get another goal in this one. We'll see if they can do that after this commercial break. Rock Lobsters still on a 5-on-3, 10 minutes to go in regulation. Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you. If you read out all the penalties that have been logged between these two teams in the 5 games they played, how many would come? A good feed from Orca Weisblatt, whiffed on by Virgili. Virgili back to Milan, right circle to the left circle for Shinkarik. Rock Lobsters playing in close quarters. Weisblatt forces a save. Hugging his post was Ekholm Rosen. Weisblatt to Picard, gets it swatted away from him there by Hugo Coach. Moccasins have one player back. Rock Lobsters still on the power play, though. Weisblatt to Milan with a slapper, deflected by the stick of Conway into the netting. Looks like someone has called a timeout here. So a chance for us to talk about what's going on in the rest of the league. Bazarin is headed back to the bench, as is Troy Murray. Their 2 fighting penalties have been served. They've only been logged for roughing minors, so don't know why it took so long to get them out of the box. There must have been some extra penalties served on there. But we've got some final scores here in the FPHL. Binghamton Black Bears with a 6-3 victory over the Watertown Wolves in state rivalry there. Port Huron Prowlers with a huge 5-1 win against the Mississippi Seawolves. Not a final yet, but Danbury Hat Tricks up big 6-1 against the Motor City Rockers. A final score, and an interesting one at that. The Blue Ridge Bobcats with a 4-2 victory against the top team in the Continental Division, the Carolina Thunderbirds, and an 8-2 scoreline right now for a game that is not yet called between the Baton Rouge Zydeco and the Danville Dashers. Things go from bad to worse for the Dashers. I believe that's going to be loss number 23. Heitzner kicked out of the circle. Koash takes his place. Koash has the lone goal right now for the Moccasins. Long range shot. Gallant finishes off. Gallant puts the icing on the cake. And there's just crickets here in the Monroe Civic Center. Gallant continues on his hot streak. Now has 10 points in his last 8 games and 3 goals in his last 2. A power play goal for the Rock Lobsters, their second of the night. There was a chance for the Moccasins to make something out of this game. That feels like that has now escaped them. This game lumbering towards its end now. And Gallant looking for a second, and he's got it. Oh, my goodness gracious. Does anyone have a stopwatch on them? Gallant, in a matter of seconds, has scored 2. Don't blink your eyes. We'll see what the official call is there and how many seconds separated those 2 goals. Ekholm Rosen hung out to dry. Conway trying to make something happen here. Gets a shot on Rosenswag, which it feels like we haven't seen one in quite some time. Then there's another one back to back. Rosenswag squeezing his near post. So now that there are 2 Athens Rock Lobsters on hat trick watches in Weisblatt and Gallant, we'll see if we'll see the second hat trick in Rock Lobster history here tonight. One thing's for sure, a Moccasin team that has had a lot of success as of late after bringing in their newest head coach, Gary Gill. It's something about the Rock Lobsters that brings something out of this Monroe team where they focus more on extracurriculars than the game at hand, and that is what's led to this 5-1 scoreline. We're here at the Snake Pit, but it feels like the Moccasins are snake bit. Good poke from Greco. Greco through center ice, goes off the hind end of Reller. Reller gets back to the loose puck though, swats it into neutral ice. With all the offense, something that might get lost in the mix is the tremendous night that Rosenswag has had in between the sticks for the Rock Lobsters. He's made a total of 24 saves thus far on the night, according to the Federal Hockey Summary. Feels like he always saves his best for performances here in Monroe. Quick pass through, but a good defensive intervention from Carter Shinkarik. Josh Rosenswag with a glove save coming out of his crease to grab that one. The Rock Lobsters will go level on points with the Moccasins if they win here, which feels a near certainty at this point. Conway in the near corner. Close in from behind, pad save on a redirection from Anderson. Long range shot, another glove save from Rosenswag on the slapper from Hal Gustafson. Boys. Monroe, you gotta let it go. Face off to the left of Rosenswag's net. Shinkarik up the right side. Bounces for Weisblatt. Milan dropped it for Weisblatt. To the backhand. Turnaround shot. Good save from Ekholm Rosen. Almost trickles in anyway. Officially 13 seconds separate the two goals from Gason Gallant. Hal Gustafsson from behind his fellow Swede's net. Cunningham gets a touch into it, picks it up from the corner, backhanded. His feed intercepted by Shinkarik. Moccasins have it back. A good backhand pass from Gallant from his knees. Cunningham takes it back over the line, gets it through the squad of Russell. Backhand shot from Heitzner misses wide. Heitzner, after his goal, actually that one was given to Koash. So he still stands at the second best scorer this season, and another case of the net coming off its moorings. But before that all happened, Corey Cunningham missed what was pretty much an open net. Still 6 minutes to go in this game, which really shows just how much this third period has lagged on with all the penalties. And all the goals scored by the Rock Lobsters, am I right? 5-1 lead for Athens. Up big with 6 to go. Schumacher with a long-term shot. Redirected by Koash. He has his second. Gives this crowd something to cheer about. The Moccasins finally squeeze another past Rosenzweig. It's their first goal in nearly 51 minutes of play. Koash with his second of the night puts him on 12 for the season. Face off back at center ice. Won by the Rock Lobsters. Moccasins looking for another, but missing high was Heitzner. And Picard's going to get called for a slash against Cunningham. Moccasins back to the man advantage. Gabriel asks, what are the shots on goal? There's no recording of shots on goal here in the arena, but the Federal Hockey website says that the Moccasins have the advantage at 29-22. The Rock Lobsters reduced to 4 for 2 minutes. Picard with a slash. Rock Lobsters need to be careful here. Still time for the Moccasins to increase their tally. Milan shakes it free, but Schumacher stops it at the line. Good cross slot pass. Koash looking for the hat trick. He misses. Koash back to Schumacher. No long-range shot this time for Schumacher. Gets stopped in its tracks by Weisblatt. Sends it high. Milan thinks better of chasing it. Koash can't take it through the legs of Murray. Pug needs digging out in the corner. Malik Johnson tries to stop it with his skate. Bounces up. Murray back to work. Johnson Clever backhand feed. Virgili meanders into the zone. Almost pokes it back for himself. Koivu Niemi, his fellow countryman, through the center of the ice. Tries to drag it in between his legs. Two great defensive plays with a stick by Virgili, who's then brought down on the ice. And it looks like it's going to be a holding the stick there against Christopher Rexmo. So about a minute 30 of 4-on-4. Rather 30 seconds of 4-on-4. A minute 30 power play for the Rock Lobsters will then commence. Team standing out in front of the bench. Christopher Rexmo called for a hook. Team's getting ready to skate four-piece. Less than 2 minutes have passed in game time since the last time I mentioned the clock. And it's felt like 20 minutes. Feels like the end of a basketball game here. Very start-stop. The Moccasins, with hands in their pockets so many times in the penalty box tonight. Rock Lobsters with a face-off win. Greco with a long-range shot, and Kaysen Gallant tips it in. A hat trick for Kaysen Gallant, the second in Rock Lobster history. So how about this? A hat trick scored in about 7 minutes for Kaysen Gallant. And I don't exactly see the Moccasin fans reaching for their hats here. You can hear a needle drop here in the Monroe Civic Center. Orca Weisblatt now on the ice. Can we potentially see two hat tricks for the price of one? Kolatarsi into the corner. Long range clearance. Michael Greco picks it up. Greco taking his time. The Rock Lobsters now on the power play. Kolatarsi's pass eventually reaches Milan, its intended target. Takes an awkward bounce off the side of Ekholm Rosen's net. Orca Weisblatt, Malik Johnson misses wide. Kolatarsi can't bat it out of midair. And the Rock Lobsters are going to a 5-on-3. The Moccasins' discipline or lack thereof will just not let this game end. Two minutes roughing for Heitzner. And the circus music is being played here over the loudspeaker, and I don't think the impression for Moccasin fans and those working here are what's intended with the circus music, because I agree it is a circus, but probably not the way that they think it is. Virgili drops it back. Shinkarik. About a minute of 5-on-3 time here for the Rock Lobsters. Milan Virgili. That one skips through Milan. Schumacher can't beat the speed of Milan. And now there's a 3-on-1. Pad save from Ekholm Rosen. Weisblatt looking for Milan. Doesn't reach him. Orca Weisblatt tiptoeing in. Drop pass, Milan, Shinkarik. Couple of 1-2s between them. Milan has it again. Shinkarik with a blast, and it finds a way through the 5-hole of Ekholm Rosen. For the second time in a row, the Rock Lobsters have the touchdown, and now they have the extra point. Michael Greco and Orca Weisblatt wanting to know where all the noise is now. Michael Greco finding it very easy to goad the Moccasin fans here. Now we've got a timeout here. A regulation game going over 3 hours is not something you see all the time. Meanwhile, we can talk about Carter Shinkarik, who's just scored his 10th goal of the season. I'm hoping Gary Gill's just saying, how about you just give them the puck and let these last 2 minutes and 14 seconds run off the clock. Trying to look at the stats, and they're going to be difficult to kind of read because of the scoring inaccuracies. Garrett Milan currently has a 3-point night.
Let's go, Moccasins!
As does Orca Weisblatt, I believe. Conway to Coach. Gets it batted away from him. High slot pass, backhanded. Heitzner, Rosenswag. Makes a couple saves back to back from one another. Offensive zone face-off for the Moccasins. Garcia hard in behind Conway. Backhand pass towards the slot from Conway, intercepted by Reller. Murray up the left side. Good stick work from Reller to prevent Conway getting to the biscuit. Garcia dumped into the corner. Chases it. Asp backhanded off the end boards towards Hal Gustafson. Coach poked away Conway by Reller. Bacon taps one towards the corner. Loose passing from Monroe once again. With this win, the Rock Lobsters will now officially have, once again, more regulation wins than they do overtime wins. They'll have 9 regulation wins and 8 overtime wins, putting them on 45 points on the season, level with Monroe. Weisblatt to Johnson. Good dispossession there from Koivu Niemi, who hasn't given up yet. Russell. Greco. Long range dump, and that's an icing. "27 seconds to go." Weisblatt with a face-off win. Just letting the music play here in the arena, because why not at this point? Anderson up the right side. Deflects off Greco into the corner. Asp back where it came from. Conaway here in the near side. Whiffed on the shot was Anderson. And the horn finally blows, but not before the Rock Lobsters blow past the Monroe Moccasins. Malik Johnson throws a puck over the glass for a young fan, despite getting booed all night long. It's going to be difficult here, but let's try to talk over how this game happened. It's going to be difficult just because there is a number of scoring inaccuracy done here in the Monroe Civic Center. But let's see if we can go over how everything went down. And things started quite early here in the Monroe Civic Center. The Rock Lobsters win 7-2, and the scoring got started by Orca Weisblatt 34 seconds into the game. Another early goal here in Monroe, something the Rock Lobsters are used to. But it was a tied game for quite a bit. Scott Koash redirecting a Kyle Heitzner shot, but that only lasted until the last 30 seconds of the period as Garrett Milan wristed one bar down to make it 2-1. And then it was all Rock Lobsters from then on out. Orca Weisblatt put himself on 2 goals. Once again, a late goal, 9 seconds left in the second period. And then the third period was just absolute chaos. Kaysen Gallant with 2 goals in a matter of 13 seconds. He would end up getting the hat trick in a matter of really just about 4 minutes. Rather 5 minutes. A 5-minute hat trick for Kaysen Gallant. What a piece of accomplishment for him, as he is the second Rock Lobster ever to log a hat trick and the first to do so on road ice. And then Carter Shinkarik with a slapper. Captain Fantastic added once again a signature move from him as his slapper goes 5-hole to put the cherry on top and put the Rock Lobsters up with the extra point 7-2. And that just about does it here at the Monroe Civic Center. Rock Lobsters win with a huge scoreline and remain successful here in the Monroe Civic Center. 5 games here in the Snake Pit, and they've charmed the Snakes every time thus far. But they get it done in regulation this time, no drop points. They move level with the Monroe Moccasins at 45 points apiece, and a chance to leapfrog them tomorrow. Same time, same place, Rock Lobsters taking on the Monroe Moccasins, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you live tomorrow in the chat. Subscribe, like the chat, rather like the stream, and make sure you hit the bell to remain in tune with all future streams, exclusive interviews, and highlight reel packages. On behalf of the Rock Lobster organization, this is Matt T-Rad saying so long from the Monroe Civic Center. The Athens Rock Lobsters win big 7-2 over the Monroe Moccasins.